Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, Polly, it's for your sake alone. I left my dear old father, my country and my home. I left my dear old mother to weep and to mourn. I am a rebel soldier and far from my home.
Just keep doing it because the thing is messed up here. Let me stop this here. Sorry about that, show. So, folks, something's wrong with the audio connection on this, but we're just going to go ahead and roll it. Thanks for joining us here today in the program. I'm your co-host, James White, and you can see here's Dave Von Kleist, Kelly, Jason Q alongside me here, which appreciate you being here with us today. And let me sorry about the audio. There's just too many connections, perhaps, but great to see all you guys. Let me take you off of me. And there we go there. Go there. All right. I'll be, and I think you have to click a button. There we go. Excellent. And we're all back together again. Good to see all of you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us. Glad to be back.
Yeah, great to see you.
Yep. This is our and the lead-in or in the title, our last broadcast here on the Disclosure Network. We are to be we're going to do something different after today, and tune in here, get this finished here. I can have my full attention. All right, ready to go. Yeah, you see below me here this One Republic Network, and who has actually come up with that? Kel? Who was it, Kelly?
Yeah, I'm guilty.
Kelly and I pounded heads on that.
Yeah, I think it turned out excellent. Jason, I don't think I've had your think about it, Jay. You like how it looks?
Oh, I do. Love it.
Well, we got a lot to talk about today, and we're going to do is we're just going to, like, the show format's going to change. You guys want to do that first? Dave, I'm going to you. You want to do that first? You want to talk about what's coming up with the One Republic Network, and it's going to be not like it is kind of now. It'll be a little bit different, some more dynamic. This is the word I want to use.
Yeah.
Compared to what we did before with a little preview. Over to you.
Well, what we're trying to do here is obviously we're in a situation in this country where there's all this talk about the deep state being taken down, the cabal is being taken down, and we're hearing stories about how all these people are going to be, charged with treason, and we're going to hear, about Donald Trump's executive order of September 12th in 2018. Any individual or organization or corporation or anything, anyone who is found to have been involved in election interference will have all their assets seized. Now, this means that the networks will go down. They have to. They've been part of the subterfuge and propaganda for decades, and that's something that I'm well on the record and documented for over a quarter of a century ago, screaming about how bad it is as far as getting any truth out of the mainstream networks. So they will have to go down, which means there's going to be a tremendous void and a tremendous need to fill that void with honest information. And so what we're trying to do right now is position ourselves with a new a network. If you want to call it blog talk, you want to call it radio. Hopefully we'll be able to get into radio if we can get a station with uplinks and all that type of stuff. But we want to get into a position where we can provide good information, honest and open discussion, debate, talking about both sides of the issue. It's not right versus left, it's right versus wrong. And there's plenty of room for error on both sides. So we want to be able to do as much as we can to bring all these different views into the spotlight and discuss them openly and honestly. So that's what the One Republic Network is all about. Now, for those of you who know me locally, I'm pretty much a regular guy. I play guitar. I sing the oldies at the local venues and nursing homes. I hang out at the VFW and I play pool and drink some beer. All right. But a a lot more of you out there, thousands of you, may recall the piece of political toilet paper stuck to my shoe. And it's been that way for quite some time. Well, after about a dozen years now of radio silence, I'm throwing my hat back into the ring, and I'm calling out to all the power team members from all those years ago. We're going to need each and every one of you, from the people who listen to the Power Hour. I want to get you all on board on this, because this is going to be a whole new endeavor, and we're in a mission. We have a mission here, not to just save the country, but to save the world from these monsters. The corporate Borg is what I call them, who have taken over. And that's what the whole point of the One Republic Network is all about. We're going to be bringing in other talk show hosts. Hopefully we'll be building a whole series of programs to be able to run for at least 12 hours a day and maybe go into replays, but we'll see how this whole thing pans out. This is a brand new concept, a brand new organization, and I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to be able to kick this thing off. And I'm thrilled to have Jim and Kelli and Jason. It's because this is the beginning. We're forming a brand new power team, and we want to get everybody on board with it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, and another thing we want to provide is,
Kelli,
resource information. So
let me reset the board. We're getting some audio issues here. Let me turn the board off and turn it back on again, because we're getting some static. People are saying, "Are you guys getting that in your chat room too?" Let me just cycle the board through here real quick, and it's going to go blank for a minute. Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And before you get going, I was just calling out for the power team members. We already have a team forming. I'm looking at the Facebook comments. Anybody watching on Facebook, send me a text, because I want to acknowledge you. John in Southern Illinois, Jacqueline in Pennsylvania. John, I don't know where you're at, but he's screaming, "Drain the swamp." Northwest Montana. Hi, Donna. Let me see, who else do we have there? We got Christy, Jackie, John, another Donna, Louise, Carol. Oh, look at them all lining up there. That's it. Let's get this power team rolling. Okay.
Yeah, so what I was saying is, we want to provide a lot of information too. Jason has massive amounts of data, and we're going to be providing some resources so that you can actually download all those documents for free and start reading and researching yourself. I know it's, sometimes it's difficult. Where do I start? Where do I look? How do I find exactly what you found? And that can be difficult. And we want to keep that readily available for everybody, and we're very excited. And that's why we're calling, I guess you could say we have like a slogan, voices for the new republic. It's not just going to be us. We're going to still have an hour of Q&A where callers just like you can call in. We want to hear from you. And, we want you to be able to express things or just ask questions. And we're very excited about all this. It's been a lot of work. We're really excited. And, we may be reaching out for a little help too, because this is a massive undertaking.
Well, I think the audio issues are getting a little bit better here. People are saying we sound a lot better. I think just cycling that board through kind of helped a bit. I had to actually dump the podcast from Podbean, but I'm recording the show, so I can always extract the audio and put it back up again. Not a big deal. You guys, I'm seeing here from where I'm sitting an ongoing trauma-based mind control operation worldwide. Now I'm understanding in New York, some places in New York, you have to actually have 2 masks now before they will even let you in. And there goes, what happened to the 15 day, what was it? 15 day to slow the curve or whatever it was? I mean, how many days is it now? 300?
Almost a year, yeah.
Your thoughts? David, anybody? Jason, Jason, what do you think?
Well,
It's called boiling the frog.
no,
I boiled one today.
I still can't believe that we're still talking about these masks after
2 masks.
Everything that's happened.
It's 2 masks. Sorry.
After all the double mask, and then some of the masks that people are wearing, it's just, you see people wearing plastic bags. That's what you need to wear. If you want to go full on, that's what you need to do.
I saw an infomercial yesterday for like this plastic piece that goes like around your ear and it comes down, but it like conforms over your nose, and I was like, what is this?
Oh, How about the
They're trying to make
kids
it normal.
in the band room playing their instruments and they got the mask on, but they cut out the spot around their nose and their mouth?
Yeah.
What's the point? I mean, this is insanity. I just don't. Oh, and let's not forget, now it's time for everybody to get your anal swab. Stick your butt out the window and let them shove a swab up your butt. I mean, come on. How stupid. I mean,
jeez. Did they serve drinks before that? I mean, at least. I mean, for crying out loud, man. Jeez.
At least take me out for a nice dinner. You know, something.
No kidding. Yeah, it is. It's madness. It's madness to say the least. Well, here, good news is around here. I'm not sure if you guys heard here in Kalispell, Stillwater Christian School starting Monday, they are taking off the masks. They have decided that they are no longer going to follow the mask mandate here. Well, it's actually not even really a mask mandate anymore. Apparently, it was taken a couple days ago or last week. I think it was. They were. It was removed by Governor Gianforte. So they're taking the lead, and they are saying no masks for us. I think it's good. I think they all should do that.
Well, you know, here in the town, in the city of Whitefish, we have our Mayor John Mulfeld, and our wonderful city council, who are resisting this lifting of the mask mandate. They want to make sure everybody keeps their masks on. You know, and it occurred to me, as a matter of fact, I should probably share. Did I share the Pledge of Allegiance that they said a couple of weeks ago on the last show? You need to hear this, because this is indicative of many of the city councils around this country and the people who are making policy and trying to, protect the citizenry. I got to share this with you because this is absolute insanity. These people, they don't even know the basic principles. Here, give a listen to this for a second.
City Council order. I'd like to wish everyone a happy New Year. I hope you had a wonderful holiday season.
Can you hear that okay?
Safe and enjoyable 2021. With that said, we will start with our Pledge of Allegiance. And let's see, Dave Taylor, would you mind leading us this evening?
Dave Taylor.
Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, this nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now these are people making policy. Okay, these are the people who are making policy and supposedly watching out for the health of our local residents here. They don't even know the Pledge of Flaming Allegiance. How am I supposed to have any confidence whatsoever if they know the Bill of Rights or if they've ever read the Constitution? I mean, they're in a position of power and they don't even know the Pledge of Allegiance. They should be ashamed of themselves. And you know what? This is indicative of many cities across this country, people making policy, and they don't even know what dragged the United States into World War II. Pearl Harbor, right? Okay. I mean, if they don't know the history, they don't know the documents of law, how can we possibly trust them to make policy in the best interest of their constituency? I rest my case.
Well, I'm really glad, James, to hear that Stillwater Christian School is lifting that. I have had a personal incident with a local public school as well. Yeah, I'm bringing it up, Jason. So I have to have meetings with the school for one of my children, and I have to have them at least twice a year. And we usually do a spring one for how we're going to end the year and how we're going to start the next year. So last Monday, I went to the school and I walked in, no mask, walked up to the office. They've got their plastic shields and all their masks on. And I told them I was there for the appointment. And they walked me into the conference room with two of the other people, and they're wearing their masks and I'm not. And they didn't say anything to me. So we did the meeting. Nobody asked me to put a mask on. And I specifically asked, are you going to have a problem with me not wearing a mask? And they said they didn't even notice until I said something. I'm like, okay, then I didn't say anything. So we went on with our meeting. Everything was fine. Today, I went back to do the second one because he's going into high school. And I went in today and same thing, walked up to the office. They walked me back to the conference room. There were other people in there. So I just sat out in the chair outside and they said, well, let's take you over to the guidance room real quick and let's see if maybe you're in a different room. And I'm like, okay, well, that's justifiable. So walk over there. First person is like, you need to put a mask on. And I said, no, I'm not going to. And well, you need to leave the room. Okay, that's no problem. So I left the room and I was standing outside by a column, not by anybody, anywhere. There's nobody there. And they figure out, yes, I'm supposed to be in that same conference room I was sitting outside. And then next thing you know, the guidance person brings out the principal and tells me that I need to wear a mask or I can't do the meeting. I said, that's fine. I'm leaving. I'm not going to put a mask on and deter my health because of your fear. If you feel that my being here is going to do some damage to you and your system or potentially in some fashion, that is fine. You can have that opinion, but that doesn't mean I have to conform what I know as my truth and facts to this. We can set this up as a Zoom. So I left. And they said they'd call me. I didn't even make it 4 blocks from there. They called and they're like, okay, well, when you get home, we'll have the Zoom ready. I'm like, okay. So I get home, look for the link. There's no link. And they called me back and they said, oh, we're having internet issues. Can we just do this over, putting me on speakerphone? I said, no, this is my son transitioning to a new school, not just going into a different grade. It's a whole new school. We need to have a conversation. I need to see the people I'm going to be dealing with next year as well. So we've rescheduled it for tomorrow, but you do not have to conform your own beliefs to what everybody else is putting out there. You don't. It is okay to stand up and say, I'm not going to put a mask on. We can find a different way of doing this if we need to accomplish the end thing, but I'm not going to change what I know and what I feel and what I believe about what is best for me and my health just because you're sitting in fear over the situation. Now, I'm not saying that I need to impose myself in being in the company of people that do have a legitimate fear. That's fine. I don't have to be in the presence. That's my point.
Well, I went into the health food store and I walk in without a mask, and everybody at the counter, they had their masks all down, and then they see me, they all put them up, and they see that I'm not wearing one, so I'm out there in the aisle, and I come back, and by the time I come back, they've all got their masks down. They don't even care because I don't have mine on. So it's like, it's not even followed, and not even that it even works. Like we talked before, it says right on the box, it doesn't protect against the COVID, yet they've been able to use our emotions against our logic. And it's really brilliant how they've been able to pull that off. Where's the logical thinking these days? It's just gone. It's not there.
I think it's sad,
Yeah,
personally.
it's absolutely sad. Do you guys, now we talked before about, and we don't have to do that here, we can do that in practicing, but we're going to try to start doing, folks, is maybe jazzing things up a little bit. So like just now where Kelli was talking, we can maybe set it up to where Kelli can pop up and then she just has her face on the screen talking, and then we can switch it back to all of our views. And we're going to work on some of those things to try to hopefully make the show, kind of step it up a little bit, I think. Would you guys all agree with that? If we can pull that off?
I don't know. We're going to play around with it next week.
Yeah.
And so putting that out there, because we never said this, we are anticipating the One Republic Network show that we're going to be doing to start March 1st. Excuse me, which is Monday. And we're planning on being Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I hate going off Eastern, but we're going to plan on doing this 3 days a week. So very exciting.
Right. And the format is going to be we're going to take one of those hours and we're going to take calls for one of the hours. I don't know if we've decided if it's going to be the middle hour, the last hour, the first hour. But I don't know. We're still
trying to figure out if it's going to be 2 or 3 hours at this point.
Correct.
I mean, we may go 3.
Correct. Yeah. So, all that stuff we'll probably make those announcements. Where should people go, Kel? You're setting all that stuff up. Should everybody just go to Facebook, or is there Facebook and check it out there, or anywhere else where we're going to announce these type of, like, where we can put announcements out? I know our website's getting worked on, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, we're working on a fantastic website. Right now we do have, platforms started. They literally don't have any data in it, but at least it's a platform beginning on Facebook, BitChute, Rumble, UGE Tube, AmericanSocialMedia.us. And there's many more coming. MeWe is coming, Gab is coming, Twitch is coming. Oh man, I've got a whole list.
We'll be on Blog Talk. We'll be podcasting.
LinkedIn.
Podbean, I think. Blog Talk. Eventually, all of them will end up on iTunes. We'll connect up with iTunes on that, so they'll all be published to iTunes. We'll be able to take calls at least one of those hours. So I think it's good times. What's going on, Jason? You're the consummate researcher, man, that's digging into stuff. What is on your plate right now? I know you never stop researching, my brother. I know that. So I know that you got to always have something going on. What's on your radar right now?
A lot. That's about a lot. It still just stumps me about this whole vaccination deal and the whole. I mean, guys, I mean, we have the dates that they actually planned this event in 2009, down to the day. Monday, April 20th was day one. I mean, Monday, April 20th, that was Hitler's birthday. And also this year, in 2020, April 20th did fall on a Monday. If you notice, everything starts correlating, everything starts kicking up again. Everything is running in cycles. History repeats itself until we break that cycle. And when you see some of the names that are on here, like the World Health Organization, of course, it mentions the leading vaccine producers: Baxter, Novartis, GlaxoSmithKline, and Sanofi Aventis. And the funny thing about the Sanofi Aventis, they were hot and heavy on Barry Honey Sherman in Canada. They got murdered in 2017. Now, in December 2017, in their home in Toronto. Now, the thing is that what they did was they had two plants in India, right? Apontex Pharmaceuticals. And they patented, because the patent ran out on the hydroxychloroquine. So what they did is that he was like the Robin Hood of the pharmaceutical companies, right? He would steal from the rich and give to the poor. He's always giving to the poor, always giving free medication. But it wasn't the medication that gets you all jacked up and everything. It was helping them. So what they did is this on Hillary's server too. They actually murdered him and his wife, and they actually used specific patents to actually pull this off because he was a high value target, an HVT. And what that is when they go out and they do like a high value target, they actually open up the betting lanes, right? Where all these mega rich people, they can actually wager on the time of death, what they're going to use, everything. If they're going to have last words, you name it, they have it. And it's all patented. It's under the Howard Lutnick's, was it? Yeah, right here. Because it's one of the first patents we actually ran into. One of the first. The Howard Lutnick's real-time wagering patent. Because they used it on 9/11. They were actually betting on how many people were going to actually jump.
No, it's true. I heard that. I heard that as well. People jumping out of the building.
This is how sick these people are.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And it's all patented. I mean, it's all in the patents. And that's why, April 10th just pops up. It's a big day coming up. A lot of people, I don't know why, but there's a lot of things that happen. Because if history does repeat itself, if you were to look at like certain dates, like of events that happened, like April 10th would be a big one.
April 19th is a big one too.
Yep.
Yeah, April 10th though, the thing about April 10th, it's you play with both calendars, the Gregorian and the Julian calendar. Because on the Julian calendar, it's an 8-day week. And on the Gregorian calendar, it's a 7-day week. Okay? So April 10th, it's the 100th day of the year, right, in 2021. Now, it falls on a Saturday, right? Now, under the Julian calendar, the day is March 28th, 2021, which is also a Saturday. It's a 2-week delta. 2 weeks, exactly. Exactly 14 days, which is 7/7. They do everything by the numbers. Now, with that in mind, some of the events that happened on April 10th. 1606, the Virginia Company of London is established by royal charter by James I of England with the purpose of establishing colonial settlements in North America. In 1606, I mind you. 1710, the Statute of Anne, the first law regulating copyright, comes into force in Great Britain. Which, who are we under? England. Then you also have, in 1790, the U.S. patent system is established under George Washington. Then you have in 1816, the federal government of the United States approves the creation of the second bank of the United States.
What year was that again?
That was 1816. Yeah. I mean, especially this one. This one really tested it. In 1858, after the original Big Ben of 14.5 ton, which is 32,000 pounds, it's a bell for the Palace of Westminster had cracked during testing. It is recast into the current 13.76 tons, which is 30,300 pounds, bell by Whitechapel Bell Foundry. This is all about a wedding anyways. So why wouldn't it? In the current tons, the 13.76, what if that is actually the number that we're shooting for on the Schumann resonance? Because they've been saying 13. Like 1313. What if it's 1376 that we have to hit?
So all these things happen on the 10th of April is what you're saying. All these events happen April 10th.
Well, and 13.76, when you add them all together, to 17. 1 plus 3 plus 7 to 6.
17. Oh.
I mean, you've got to be kidding me with this. You know, because remember, 14.5 ton is a 32,000 pound bell. So 32,000, and you reverse it to 23. So that's why they went 30,300 pounds. And then you've got, let's see. Oh, here's a big one. In 1972, tombs containing bamboo slips, among them Sun Tzu's Art of War and Sun Bin's Lost Military Trees, are accidentally discovered by construction workers in Shandong, China. They actually found the Art of War on this very day in 72. And what book are we going by right now? I mean, it's stone cold calculated. I mean, it is perfect. And then you've got, 1912. Titanic set sail. April 10th. I mean, 1932. Paul von Hindenburg was elected president in Germany. Who did he beat out? Adolf Hitler. Remember they mentioned the Hindenburg earlier in the Q drops? What if it wasn't that? What if it was the person? It's pointing directly at them. Yeah,
right.
Them. 1941, U.S. troops occupied Greenland to prevent Nazi infiltration.
Is that Byrd?
Is that everyone again? Oh boy, what's that?
Admiral Byrd, is that trip that Admiral Byrd took there in didn't Admiral Byrd, isn't he the one that took that trip down to Antarctica, and where he claimed that he saw these flying saucers with Nazi symbolism on the side? Is that the same one I'm thinking of?
Oh yeah, I mean that was Operation High Jump and everything. Yeah, it was.
Didn't he say he went down into the Middle Earth or something like that?
Yes, that's when they went to the North Pole.
Right, North Pole. That's right.
Because when they say trust the plan, right? Everybody, I mean, this threw everybody for a loop until we actually found it. What's one picture that they always throw in our face that we really don't know? It's a cross section of the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now answer me this: why would this have to be scrubbed by the CIA?
Why would it have to be scrubbed? Is that what you said? You
Really?
broke up. Did it have to be scrubbed by the
Yeah,
CIA?
it had to be. Yes, it had to be sanitized copy approved for release 6/24/2013 by the CIA.
Can of worms. Can
Now-
of worms.
Here's why. Because now remember, the furthest we've ever drilled down is 8 miles. That's it. So whoever got funny with the crayons here, whoever at NASA, they need to be drug on the street and just you have a boo party put to them. Because right here, so you have the black dot, right? That's the entrance in Earth. Okay. Now you have the white, right, the round part here, right, on the outside. That is where our continents are, right? Then the thicker wall here, that's Antarctica, that's ice wall. Then you have the outer realm, which has the other 33 continents, and then there's the outer rim, where the firmament lies.
Okay, then.
Now, when they say trust the plan, right? That's a plan view of the Earth. A plan view is it's when you're looking down on a 3D object. We're a 3-dimensional object. When they're looking down at us, it's a plan view. That's trust the plan. It's been about flat Earth the whole time.
You're blowing Dave's brain.
Yeah.
I see the wheels. I see the smoke coming, Dave.
No. It's okay. We see this is what this new concept of this show is all about. There are no limitations. We can talk about just about anything we want. We don't want to offend anybody, but there are opinions that we have. I mean, I may not agree with Jason. I may not agree with Kelly. Okay, I may not agree with Jim. But the whole point is to have an open and honest discussion, because what's happening today in this country is that there is one particular group of individuals, and I'll let you guys figure this out, that will shout down, demonize, ridicule, and basically besmirch anyone who says something that doesn't resonate with their beliefs. So we've got to have the doors of communication open for all ideas, all topics, and discuss them. Discuss amongst yourselves.
Well, the thing that troubles me about that, Dave, is that you said you might disagree with me. Is that what you said?
Yeah, you're not going to want to. You're not.
That's all right. Although, be like Joe Biden, meet him behind the gymnasium, and we'll work this thing out.
Punch me. I feel like punching me in the nose. If we could take a moment here, I know we wanted to do this. We wanted to just take a moment to recognize. I think a lot of us here would not be doing what we're doing if it wasn't for the late great Rush Limbaugh, who we know passed away yesterday. They're really giving him the business on the left. Is really, they seem to be giddy that the guy suffered and died with cancer. I just don't even know the level of evil. I can't believe it. But I know that
NBC was trashing him this morning. Absolutely,
the
Today Show. They
all are.
Nothing good to say.
No, and I think we owe. For me, I didn't really emulate myself after him or anything. I'm just saying anybody that's in radio right now or doing this type of thing, you have to, take your hats off to Rush Limbaugh, because he did carve the way really for conservatives to do what we're doing. So you guys can, that's my sort of my thoughts on it. You guys can go around the room if you want and say your own piece if you'd like, but that's mine.
He did just that. He brought up controversial subjects. He had a very long running career, and he was very loyal in his thoughts and his convictions. And to see a trend on Twitter that is rest in piss regarding someone like that passing away is just absolutely atrocious. It's horrible.
Terrible.
Wow. We got banned from Twitter for a lot less.
I know.
That's funny. I mean, where's the Twitter police at now?
Yeah.
I mean, the man, I mean, no matter what anybody says about him, we all have our right to free speech. Once we start censoring just one person, you've essentially, buckled us at the knee. That's exactly what they did. By what they did to President Trump on Twitter and all these other, I mean, they're not even social media sites anymore. It's just left-wing agenda, and just pick on the right side, because we're real sorry, we'll bust up your little child pedo ring, your little sacrifice ring and all that, but it's got to go. All of us got to go. And all of you have got to.
I want to jump in there, because I remember when I first really started listening to talk radio back in 89, 90. I mean, Rush had just gone on with his EIB, the Excellence in Broadcasting Network. And being a musician, I had to support myself and my family by having a day job. And so I was driving around a little delivery van, and I had an AM radio. So I would listen to talk radio, and I was listening to Rush Limbaugh. And the thing is that at that particular time, one of the other things I was doing is working as a staff announcer at WTNH Channel 8 in New Haven, Connecticut. It was an ABC affiliate. It was during the Gulf War. And I knew and watched live feeds that were coming over from Iraq. And I knew that the mainstream media was lying through their teeth. And they were, of course, singing the accolades and praising George Herbert Walker Bush. And I had a totally different opinion on that. And so I was diametrically opposed to what Rush Limbaugh was saying. And so I wasn't happy with him at all. However, as the decades progressed, I've noticed that Rush started to get himself a little bit more in line with some of the concepts that I had in my head. And it's funny, Jason, you mentioned how free speech has been on the ropes. And this has been in the works for quite some time, which is a good way to segue into some of the documents that I have on the side. But before we get to those, Jim, I just wanted to say that what's happened with the left and with the right is an evolution. Sometimes concepts that were considered liberal and left of 50 years ago become conservative and right today, and vice versa. And a perfect example, we have the liberal left right now, and they sing the praises of John F. Kennedy. They love JFK. And of course, JFK was a wonderful president. Many of them feel that he was the best president we ever had. And that's a debate we can have at a later date. But the point is that JFK wanted to expose the secret societies. He also wanted to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and cast them to the wind. He also wanted the secret societies, the CIA, and also he wanted to take apart the Federal Reserve. Now, all of these concepts are concepts that the conservative right holds dear today, and the Democrat liberals are condemning. So we've had a polarity shift. Now, regardless of whether you think of yourself as a conservative or a Democrat, we can all agree that freedom of speech is absolutely essential in a democracy, okay, despite the fact that, yes, we all know this is a republic. But I wanted to see if we couldn't, I think this would be a good time, Jim, to pull up a couple of those documents, because these are kind of important.
Yeah, right on, brother. I can do that. Give me a second here. I'll have them loaded.
Okay. I hope you guys don't mind, but this is important documentation. I think you might enjoy this. Back in the mid-'70s, they were having the church hearings, and a lot of information was coming out about what the U.S. government has been involved with for many years. Now, if you look at that document right there, you scroll back up there for a Jim. It's the supplemental detailed staff report on intelligence activities and the rights of Americans. Now, this is a congressional report. All right. Now let's take a look at the table of contents, and this is report number 94-755. Okay. Now the introduction itself, we zoom in on that. It is basically, and I could pull it up on my screen, but I'm relying on you, Jim, to zoom in on that. The number one introduction. And by the way, this document is 2,000 pages long. It's 3 volumes. Okay, the introduction and summary. It's the counterintelligence program, a misnomer for domestic covert action. Now that's right off the bat. I mean, that's sort of like an oxymoron, isn't that right? I mean, an oxymoron is sort of like a misnomer, right? Okay, scroll down a little bit. Let's go into the, this is the first book, was the introduction summary. We go on down, keep going until we see the highlighted part. Okay, we could go into each one of these chapters, but I want to get to the bullet points. Okay, stop right there. 5 domestic programs. We got 1, 2, 3, and number 4 is white hate. Number 5 is black nationalist hate groups. Now, they weren't just examining and researching these, they were infiltrating and in many cases creating these groups. You go to section 3. Look at this. Now, this ought to set off an alarm bell in your head. The goals for COINTELPRO: preventing or disrupting the exercise of First Amendment rights. This is your CIA, folks. Look at that. A, efforts to prevent speaking. B, efforts to prevent teaching. C, efforts to prevent writing and publishing. D, efforts to prevent meeting. Well, how democratic of this? Scroll down a little bit more. Efforts to promote enmity and factionalism within groups or between groups. Now, what they do is they would infiltrate a particular group and they would, antagonize or motivate them to go against another group. And if there isn't another group, they'll create another group to create conflict. Okay, they create fictitious organizations. They label targets as informants. This is the methodology of the CIA. This is so un-American. This is why Kennedy wanted to splinter them into 1,000 pieces and cast them to the wind. And they're still doing it. Go to the next page. Wait till you see this. All you liberal Democrats out there, you love to talk about JFK and Martin Luther King, right? COINTELPRO techniques using hostile third parties against target groups. Disseminating derogatory information to family, friends, and associates. All right, we could go down and hit all these, but I want to get to a specific page. Let's go to the next page, I think. Or scroll down. Let me see what's on the bottom of that page there, Jim. Okay, so on the next page. Okay, there's a specific thing that I want you all to see. Now, if you zoom into the paragraph that's highlighted in blue, okay, right there it says, in May of 1962, the FBI included Dr. King, that's right, Martin Luther King, on Section A of the Reserve Index. Keep that in mind. They wanted to put Martin Luther King on Section A of the Reserve Index. So what, pray tell, is the Reserve Index? Scroll down, if we will, and take a look at the bracketed area. Okay, it says the action, just to zoom a little bit more there, I can't quite see it, my eyes are bad. Oh, the key, the action memorandum stated that Dr. King's name should be placed on the Section A of the Reserve Index, blah, 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 and labeled as communist. So, who and what is the Reserve Index? All right. Okay, the types of persons to be listed in Section A of the Reserve Index included, scroll down a bit, professors, teachers or leaders, labor union organizers or leaders, writers, lecturers, newsmen, entertainers, and others in mass media, lawyers, doctors, and scientists, and other potentially influential persons on a local or national level. In other words, anybody who's in a position to say anything to anybody else could be listed on Section A of the Reserve Index, and that means that they can be all in a state of national emergency, be rounded up and detained. This is your CIA, folks. This is what Kennedy was screaming about, and this is what we conservatives are screaming about. So you liberal Democrats out there condemning us conservatives, you don't seem to understand we're on the same flaming page. We're on the same side. And it's because of the media's relentless programming, browbeating, and propagandizing that we're hating each other when we should be reaching across and shaking each other's hand. It's time to come together, folks, because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Thank you very much for that little.
Well, the excellent points, David. And what they've done with the religious community is you have the clergy response teams. I'm sure you guys have heard about that, where they have these clergy that are in place that are going to help lead their flock to the FEMA camps. They've interviewed clergy that have said this openly. So they not only infiltrated those areas you said, Dave, but they've also got into the churches as well a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they've got everything. We're a captured nation. That's what I've said on numerous occasions. To me, we seem to be somewhat of a captured nation in certain aspects.
Oh, by the way, one of the comments out there, Patrick, hello, Patrick. I got you. I see what you're writing here. You want a link to see the document. Okay, I'm going to give you a link. Write it down. And it's not just for this information. There's a ton of other information there. Go to gulfwarvets.com. That's gulfwarvets.com and click on the documents section. You'll find a ton of government documents there that you might find enlightening. So there you go.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Pardon me. Well, where do we stand right now? Let's take a analysis of what we have here. I still think it's kind of odd. I heard that they're not going to be, troops aren't going to be leaving for a while. As far as I know, that the barbed wire is still around the Capitol building. Reports, and these days it's hard to know what to believe, that there's been arrests being made, tunnels underground, anything like that. I haven't seen some of the, I'd love to be able to get more visual proof of that, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not there just because they're not showing me or I can't see it. Anybody have any thoughts on where we're standing now? I mean, March 4th is coming up. We've heard that March 4th is going to be a big date. President Trump did an interview yesterday with Greg Kelly, I think from Newsmax. I'm not really a big fan of Newsmax. I think Greg Kelly's a decent guy, but Newsmax, I'm not huge fan of that. And he's thinking, big things are coming. We got the SCOTUS coming tomorrow, I think, right, David? Isn't tomorrow the Supreme Court? Isn't that right? So
that's right.
Where are we at? Kelly, you want to give us an analysis in your view, or you don't have to go first, anybody can. What's your analysis on where we're at now? I mean, things still moving forward, because that's what people are wondering. I mean, we saw the open stealing. We know that there's theft. I mean, we know that things are not right. Something's not right. I mean, we know the fences, the barbed wire, the troops. It's all kind of madness. Kelly Higgins.
Okay. So first of all, Ratcliffe, his report was brought forward January 19th. From January 19th, it was turned over to the military, and the military had 45 days to do their verification of everything that was in there to certify that every single piece of evidence showing the election fraud had been committed. So we're still in that time frame. They still got to be able to finish out what they're doing. But the last piece personally that, makes a lot of sense to me is showing that the court system is corrupt as well. We've already shown the election system is corrupt. They've shown that Congress and the House of Representatives and, the Senate and everything that's going on in there is corrupt. And, now we got to show that the courts are corrupt, because once the courts are corrupt and you can't have a legitimate, fair trial or, exposure of evidence in regards to what's coming out with, the Supreme Court in the next couple of days. If you can show the people that you can't even trust the Supreme Court and it's corrupt as well, I mean, we have no other choice. The military has to protect our Constitution. That's what they have to do. And if the courts are corrupt, they have to take over. I mean, some of us already think they're already taken over, and we're already kind of going through the situation, which I believe as well. But I think that after that 45 days and after the court system, we're right on that time frame. I mean, we're coming up on our 45 days. We're close to day 30. So we got a week or two. You got March 4th in there, which is the previous dates that the presidents were inaugurated. We've got some things coming up around the corner, and I'm holding the line. I know what my gut's telling me. I know what I can feel is coming. And just because you're not seeing on your news station that people are getting arrested or that things aren't happening, well, you guess what? There are still tons of child traffickers that are being arrested. There are things happening all over the place. Just because your TV hasn't told you, hey, guess what? So-and-so was arrested and executed, doesn't mean that those things aren't happening behind the scenes. So patience is a virtue. Things have to play out a certain way. happening in its own time, and none of us are in control of it. So all we can do is keep the faith, hold the line, and be patient. Personal opinion.
Yeah, with you. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm understanding what I'm hearing is some of the chatter that I'm hearing is the quantum financial system may be ready to go, and a lot of things are going to open up when that happens. I wish I was smarter. I wish I was smarter and I knew more about the quantum financial system. I really do, but I don't. I know that some benefits of it are going to be great. If you're talking about Jasara and Nasara, you guys have any thoughts on that? Are we close to that from the information you're getting, intel?
This is a good one for Jason.
Oh, yeah. Yep. We're close. Yeah, I talked to Charlie Ward yesterday morning, in fact, and he was one of the creators of the quantum financial system.
I didn't know that. He was one of the creators.
Oh yeah. So all these people that are calling him a fraud, yeah. There's just one little problem with that. He's a bigger piece in this puzzle than people realize. But he doesn't hold an ego. He's just trying to learn like we all are. So when people say, well, he said this was going to happen, it didn't happen. It's like, well, when do you see like a fence erected with razor wire on the inside and you have troops on both sides of the fence in the Capitol? I mean, literally you brought the prison to them.
Yeah.
That's all you did. You literally locked up all of DC.
Maybe they're not allowing a foreign entity of land to infiltrate the rest of the area that it is close
that's what
to.
I've heard that as well. Yeah.
Especially with how many have dual citizenship to Israel, which is a defunct nation state.
Let me get this straight. There are troops on the outside of these fences, and there are troops on the inside of the fences.
Yes.
Right? Is that correct? I mean, they got troops on both sides of the fence.
Video on both sides. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So I can't help but think of the YouTube video of this fence, and there's two dogs, and they're barking at one another. And they're barking, and somebody opens up the fence, and they go, oh. And then they close the fence and go, I mean, what's the point? Well, I mean, what's going on here? The insanity is staggering here.
Well, when you look at a prison, I mean, don't you have guards on the inside and outside?
Yeah.
To see if anybody's escaping or anything, if anybody's breaching a wall or anything? That's what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, there's some high value targets in there too that they're wanting out.
Well, what doesn't make sense over the whole thing is how many millions of people in the aggregate went to Trump rallies, didn't smash things, didn't burn down buildings. A lot of times they left the place in a better condition than it was in when they got there, cleaned up all their garbage. These are not the people that are going to like storm anything and do any damage. This is I mean, what's the use? Who are they protecting themselves from? Is my point. It's not people like us. We're not going to be going there and doing that. That's not how we roll.
That video. No. So speaking of that, did anybody happen to see the clip where, when Trump's attorney was having it out with that woman and he literally like went off on her? In the background, somebody had slowed down the video and you can see Trump walking behind him into the doors of Congress in the background. At least it looks like him. I'm just saying.
Trump. It looked like Trump.
It looked like him.
We can't say it was.
We can't say it is. Like sure did. Yep. Telling you, the man's still your president. You can think whatever you want about me. I'm telling you, this man is still my president.
You can't impeach a civilian, guys. You can't do it. I mean, what would you impeach us for? I mean, seriously, for what?
No, it doesn't
it's not the first time we've had two presidents. But I think it'll be the last.
This is a Civil War Part 2 because we never finished that war. We never did. So finally, we got to stick it to the Democrats. They're the ones that brought all the racism and everything to this country. They're the ones that created the KKK. They're the ones that created everything. Now, Grant, when he was president, when he was the 18th president, he pretty much eradicated the KKK. And who would bring them back? If I could just remember that name. Oh, yeah, Jacob Schiff. That's who. Yeah, Schiff. Adam Schiff. Yeah, it's great-grandfather. It's the same one that funded the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia.
They're great friends with the Rothschilds. They actually shared their mansion together. The Schiff family and the Rothschild family go back for a long ways.
That they're rather
1700s.
That's right.
And then we have this. So the DNC decided to submit this, a Donald Trump report on 12/19/15, right? Now, I mean, how long do you think it takes to write just garbage about somebody? About 231 pages of garbage. I mean, we literally have it all here. No matter who has what, we all have it collectively. We all have the truth.
Well, I tell you what, let's do. I'm sorry, Jason. I thought you were finished.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Let's take a quick break here, and what we do, we'll come back on the other side. Let's bring up that video, David, that you sent over to me. That kind of bizarre scene going on there, in Washington D.C. I think all that we're seeing here, everything that we're seeing, all of the stuff, the media, and all the distractions, it's all to protect people that harm children. I really, really fully believe that. That's what the whole thing is for. We can touch on that and other things on the other side. OneRepublicNetwork.com will be the name of the new website. It's not ready yet, but that's the name of the new network. We're going to take a quick commercial break here, and we'll be back after these brief messages with myself, Dave Von Kleist, Kelli Higgins, and Jason Q. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on mute real quick, and I'll be back after these brief messages. If you like classic cars, exceptional service, and a money-back guarantee, then the Corner Shop in beautiful downtown Kalispell is the place for you. Whether it's an oil change, engine diagnostic, suspension work, or brakes all around, the Corner Shop has you covered. With expert technicians and a free consultation on all services, you can't go wrong with the Corner Shop. Did I mention the classic cars? While you're waiting for your expert service to be performed, take a stroll through the showroom to see Kalispell's smoothest collection of classic cars. The Corner Shop is conveniently located at 1212 South Main, just south of the courthouse. The Corner Shop is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., so drop by for an appointment or call 755-7777. That's 755-7777. The Corner Shop, Kalispell's full-service auto repair facility. Hi, this video is brought to you by PatriotPrepared.com, where right now you can save $250 on each large package purchase, plus get free shipping to the continental United States. In these troubled times, it's not a bad idea to have some extra food storage available, and you can save big at Patriot Prepared right now. Go to PatriotPrepared.com, that's PatriotPrepared.com, and use the code TRUMP250 at checkout to receive your savings today. Folks, thanks for supporting this broadcast. If you want to support us, you can support us by supporting our sponsors, especially Patriot Prepared right now. There's some great specials on large food packages, and you see what's going on in Texas. There's no doubt, folks, that there's going to be a tremendous increase in food prices. They're already talking about a large portion of the cattle and the wheat, like half the wheat crop in Texas has gotten destroyed. That's the reports that we're getting. If that happens, things are just going to go to the moon. You see gas prices are already going up. So, it doesn't matter really where you live in the country. You can always be adversely affected by weather conditions, sometimes just like that. The people in Texas, I'm sure they had no idea what was going to be happening. So my point being is, if you want to get prepared, you can go to PatriotPrepared.com. That's PatriotPrepared.com. And you just have to put Trump 250 in the checkout there, and you save $250 on all those big food packages and also free shipping. So if you want to support this program, you can do so by doing that. And we're going to be transitioning over again to the One Republic Network starting March 1st, I believe, is when we're going to be doing that. So we will before we actually get on the air, we'll send out announcements, and we will sort of let everybody know the time slots. And I don't really know exactly how the minutiae is going to work with everything, but we'll all be back together here again for sure on March 1st. And most of the crew is back now. So 2/3 of them are back. So we're going to go and pop on over here. Thanks so much, folks, for hanging out after the break. You're joining me here, James White, along with Dave Von Kleist, Kelli Higgins, and Jason Q. And this is Critical Disclosure Roundtable, our very last. Was it be our last? Will it be our last? Hold on, let me take it off. Will it be our last? Are we going to have another show before the 1st of March? Let me take this off. You guys will have to click the mute button.
We could do another show next week.
Yeah, so I go ahead, Jason. There you go. I said the last show because I know I thought we were starting next week. See how much I know. I thought we were kicking off on One Republic Network next week. So we may do another. I didn't mean to lie. I didn't mean to lie in the title. It wasn't on purpose. I promise.
No, I think it's just because I think I need a little more. I need just a little bit more time for fine tuning some things and making sure everything's put together. I don't know if everybody realizes, but we are setting up like massive things in a very short amount of time, and I like to make sure it's good, so some things may be going, but we may not have everything ready. We may not have all of our data resources ready for everybody just yet. That might take an extra day or two, but we're really trying to get as much of it ready so that everything is there for you for when we start this, because we are very excited about what we're going to bring to the table is something a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because, Jason, you're going to be, I think, in some aspects, you're going to be providing, we're going to have a location on there if you have the time to do so. We're going to be providing a space for you to put all that great documentation that you've discovered up there for the folks, and we can put it up in PDFs so they can actually download it, right? They can download all that stuff and print it off themselves. Is that your understanding, Jay?
Oh, yeah. We do it wherever anybody wants. World's your oyster.
There you go.
I mean,
the path of least resistance.
Whatever the public wants. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do, right?
That's
we
right.
Get the knowledge and we put it out there, and they want documents. We'll give them documents. You can't deny somebody the truth.
No, but you've got some great stuff. Like you've sent me some things that I've been able to read that have really opened up my mind. And I know that if we could provide that to, hundreds or thousands or whoever wants it, to just give them access to it, whether they read it on the screen or whether they print it out, whatever it may be, it's just diversifying the thought process of the what if.
Oh, yeah. And if they want, we can even give them the brand. If they want to get a printer, we can give them the brand printer to get, where to get the ink and everything. I mean, you're definitely going to want to roll with this one. It's like $100. Yeah, I mean, it's built like a tank, so it's definitely well worth it. I mean, we're on number 2 right now, so it's, that'll happen. But
well, with printing hundreds of thousands of pages, it's bound to break.
Yeah, yeah, we're definitely over the 40-mile mark.
Right.
Well, we know we're living in a bizarro world here. And David, you sent over a video. I don't know if we showed this on the show before, but you sent over a video it's just.
Well, let's set that up for a second.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Now I realize that there's a lot of questions about the video that we're going to show in just a moment. But first of all, let's take a look at the picture of AOC that was taken a little over a year ago. Remember, they were all screaming and upset about the children in cages down at the border. Okay. And AOC had a photo op. And if you take a look at that picture, I'm sure a lot of you folks have seen that photograph. Now, there were several other photographs that were taken from different angles. Now, this was supposed to be where she was down there looking at the children and she was crying because they're all stuck in cages. But that was staged. It was staged. There were no kids around there. Anyway, the point is that a lot of you have seen that photograph. Okay, now, let's take a look. Before we show the video, we know that we've been hearing many, many reports about children being rescued from the tunnels. We have also, it's not just the United States, but the entire world now has become aware of the international multi-trillion-dollar, well, I don't know if it's trillions, but multi-billion-dollar sex trafficking industry that rivals the drug industry. This has been going on for many, many, many years. I became aware of it 25 years ago when I got to know Ted Gunderson. And I don't think anybody can disagree with the idea that the Boys Town controversy, the Boy Scouts of America controversy, the Franklin cover-up, Johnny Gosh, John Benet Ramsey. I mean, the list goes on and on about child sex trafficking. Now, what's also come to light in the past couple of years and has gone mainstream is the issue about the manufacture of adrenochrome, which is basically created by terrorizing, torturing, and killing children, draining their blood, and in some cases they drink it or they process it into a powder. But this is a huge industry. Now, if you don't believe it, you think it's all conspiracy theory, raise your hand and slap yourself with it, because it's very real. Yeah, there's a patent for it. So the point is that we've had reports of children being rescued from tunnels in Los Angeles, in New York City, and we would have to be silly hearts to think that there isn't something similar going on in Washington, D.C., because these elitists have been doing this behind the scenes for decades, if not centuries. So with that in mind, let's take a look at this video. Okay, here it is. It's only 17 seconds long, and we may have to pause it. If you can pause it when we get to that specific angle where that image is over the Capitol building, Jim.
I think I can pause it.
You can go ahead and do that.
I think I can pause it.
Take a look at this, listeners. Okay. Here it is. We don't need the sound. They can take the sound down. Now look, okay, pause it for a second. Okay, we've got fire trucks.
Hold on, I couldn't. Okay. Let me pause it. There you go. There we go. I turned the sound down here. Let's start over.
Yep. Oh, okay, we have fire trucks. Okay, and we have ambulances. Okay, take a look. There's ambulances right there. Scroll, do a little bit more. Okay. And we have fire trucks, ambulances, and if you look on the far left, let it go just a little farther, you can see prison buses on the far left. Now, what's that floating around the Capitol? Okay, let's take another look. I want you to put on your thinking caps, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this could be crazy stuff. This could be a created video. We don't know. But look what's floating around there. If you can pause it, Jim, right there. Dang. Look at that image. You see that? That is the same image we just looked at with AOC. Now let's think about this. AOC was crying her crocodile tears for the children. The children. Now, why would now if this was a real hologram that was being, projected, okay, or whether it was inserted afterwards, it doesn't make any difference. Somebody made this 17-second video, and by the way, 17 seconds, 17, there's that number again. The 17th letter of the alphabet is what, Jason?
Q.
Q. Interesting. Okay. So why would they have an image of AOC floating around the Capitol building crying her crocodile tears? Why would there be fire trucks, ambulances, police cars, and prison buses outside? And then we also have the video. I should have sent that over to you also, Jim, is that picture, the video that was taken from the White House. They've been having these blackouts at the White House. The lights go on, the main door opens, an individual walks out, followed by at least a half a dozen shorter people, yes, which looks like children.
Yep, I agree. I saw the video.
Okay.
You're right, David.
Right. Now, there have been several reports. I wasn't going to bring this up, but Charlie Ward and several others have been discussing this online. The idea that during the inauguration, there was a certain operation that was going to go down that was canceled because it was reported that an explosive device was found in a tunnel system underneath the Capitol. Now, whether or not we know this is true, we don't have the evidence for it. I'm putting out the disclaimer right now. This is just open discussion on reports that have been around from other people. But the point is that after that happened and Special Forces teams went into the tunnels, apparently they found a whole network of tunnels that don't just connect the official government buildings, but many of these tunnels go off to the northwest corner of Washington, D.C., where there are residential homes, mansions, if you will, one of which is owned by Barack Obama. The point is that with an extensive tunnel system, special forces go down there and reportedly found a huge area where there were still children and adults who were in cages. Some of these children were as young as 3 months old, and some of the adults as old as 30. Now, the disclaimer is I can't prove this. This is just discussion that's going on. And we have circumstantial evidence. And this video that we just showed is very interesting because it indicates to me, I mean, if they sent special forces into these tunnels, it's reported that some of these guys came out. I remember there was about a year ago, there was a report about a tunnel that was discovered in Los Angeles. Special forces went down there. What they found made them sick to their stomach. They were crying inconsolably. Some of them vomited because of what they had seen. And this is the same report we're getting from these rescue operations in Washington, D.C. Now, if this is happening, and if these troops go down there and they discover this, and as it was reported in Los Angeles, when they found this and they pulled all these children out of there and arrested all the individuals, they torched the place. They blew it up. So if they did it in Los Angeles, why wouldn't we think they're going to do the same thing if they found the same problems in Washington, D.C.? And if they were to do that, what would be the necessary first responders required for such an operation? You would need fire trucks. You would need ambulances. You would need police cars and police or rather prison buses. So if you will run that video one more time, Jim, let the folks out there take a look at that. Put on your thinking cap. Now, this is circumstantial. This is reported. This is not proven factual evidence, but this is food for your thought. Take a look at that. Isn't that AOC floating around the Capitol?
Looks like AOC to me.
Make up your own mind, folks, and then ask yourself, why would that video be produced? I don't care if it's real or not, but why would it be produced? Unless they were trying to send some sort of a message to those who get to see it. It's scary stuff, folks. These are very trying times, but we have to admit that what is going on as far as the international sex trafficking and marketing of children. I mean, these kids, I've seen photographs, they came from Hunter Biden's laptop where the young children were duct taped together, stuck in boxes, and shipped all over the world. This is real stuff, folks. It's real. So this is the type of war that's going on. And this is another reason why I do not believe in a New York minute that Trump would turn his back and say, hey, I was only kidding. Bye. No. This is now out in the open. This is worldwide. The whole world has seen this, and they all know it's real. So anyway.
Well, one of the things we left out earlier that often gets overlooked, that was a huge case. Do you guys remember that McMartin Elementary School case where I think that was in California, where they had the school and they would tunnel the kids underneath the ground, and they were molested at I think it was a church. This underground.
Are you talking about I think it was like a daycare preschool?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. Was it McMartin or something? That rings a bell to me. Do you remember, Jason? Mm-hmm. I think it was McMartin. The McMartin case. That rings a bell to me. But my point being is they used underground tunnels to transport these children back and forth. Do you think they just discovered that in the California preschool case? No, that's how they operate. I think you're onto something, David.
Well, and if you think about it, if inauguration was the time that things were going to go down, and if they just happened to, because of some explosives, have come across these tunnels at that exact moment, that is a very good reason on why to shut down doing a mass arrest, because then it's not about those people. It's about, we got to protect the innocent first, and the people that are down there, those are the ones that needed protected, and that's a bigger fish to fry than dealing with the people that need to be arrested for this. Because you got to protect them first, and then you can go after the criminals. That's fine, because you can change that timeline, and that makes a lot of sense. And if they change the timeline on why.
Apparently, it was Balboa Beach. Our listener Cheryl sent in It was McMartin from Balboa Beach, California, is where that case was. And I do remember that. I mean, I was very young, I think, when that happened. But that was in like late 70s, I think, maybe, when that happened. So this has been going on ever since the Franklin... What was that?
No. Was that the Presidio affair? Or was that...
I don't think that was. That doesn't ring a bell to me.
They made a movie about it?
I don't know if they did. The Presidio, I think, was a totally different...
Let me look it up.
I think that Aquino was involved in that Presidio. Michael Aquino. You've probably seen that guy.
Oh, that... Yeah.
The Black Ops guy.
The Temple of Set.
Yeah, exactly. The Temple of Set. Yep, you're right.
Satanic, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's in the Presidio. This McMartin, they may have been linked up together and tied together. I don't know, because all these child trafficking pedophiles, they're all involved in a big net. It's a big network. It goes all the way across the country and sadly all the way across the world. I just got off the phone with my friend in Switzerland. His children taken. He's been on my show numerous times. Neil, been on my show numerous times. His children were taken in Switzerland. It goes on everywhere. It just goes on all across. That's it. They deal in children. They buy and sell the souls of children. I mean, that's their currency. I mean, I wish I was wrong, folks.
Yeah.
You know, there are plenty of statues around Europe and around the Middle East and the Far East that basically show, I don't know, Jim, I don't know if you saw that picture. I posted it on Facebook earlier today. It's about 500 years old. I think it's either in Pakistan or India or something like that, of this huge ogre eating a child with several other children in his arms. Now that's like 500 years old. We've seen also images from the Catholic Church, and we've seen from churches and stuff like that. There's some very disturbing images of children being cut into pieces, boiled in oil, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, apparently this whole concept of sacrificing babies is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. And it goes hand in hand with the same secret societies and cults that JFK was warning America about. So again, if anybody thinks that this is all crazy conspiracy theory, you know, you got to wake up. You just have to wake up, because as long as you deny it, these monsters get away with it. So please, please understand that this stuff is as real as it gets, and it must end. And that's what this whole shift is all about worldwide. People are waking up. People are understanding that we have been living under the thumb of a global network of very sick individuals, the cabal, if you will. And they want to make sure that they maintain their power. That's what their great reset is all about. So they're pulling out all the stops, because this is all in. They're all in right now. That's why they are fighting tooth and nail Trump and the military, because, and yes, dare I say, the QAnon movement, is because all this information is getting out there on a worldwide basis, and the rest of the world knows it's true. It's just the American people have been brainwashed and browbeaten into thinking anything outside of the mainstream agenda or the conventional wisdom that's shoved down your throat, a series of blue Kool-Aid and blue pills, 24/7, 365. If you think outside of those confines, then you're a wacko conspiracy theorist. Again, you got to wake up, folks. You've been lied to.
Well, David, we can go back to Babylonian times. Was it Moloch? They used to have his arms extended. They would heat up his arms, and they would put the babies in his arms. And if they wanted prosperity and they wanted greater riches and greater land, they would take their baby and put it in the arm of the statue, the burning statue, and they would consume their child. This goes back, what is that, 6,000 years ago? So this is not like this is a new thing, folks. This has been in front of our eyes. Well, we're not 6,000 years old, but you get my point. It's nothing new under the sun.
I mean, it goes back to pagan worship. I mean, you know, the concept, okay, Halloween, they make a jack-o'-lanterns, okay, with a face. Do you know where the original idea or concept of having a jack-o'-lantern was? If you go back to paganism, what they used to do is take gourds and they would carve the face of whatever god that they wanted to make a sacrifice to. They would sacrifice a baby, and they would cut the fat off of the baby, stick it in the gourd, and light it on fire as a sacrifice for their god. That's how the jack-o'-lantern came into being. So all of you folks that are out there, celebrating on Halloween, and you make a jack-o'-lantern and stick it in front of your house, you are basically sacrificing a baby in effigy. And they got everybody thinking, oh, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. This is some sick stuff.
Well, just look you just look back to the history of why they paint eggs on Easter. Check that one out, right? I mean, these people truly
Ishtar,
are
the
sick.
fertility goddess.
These people truly are sick. And here's the thing. They're running things. They have their people in every department. They have them in every government agency. They have them in every institution. They have them in colleges. They have them in, this is what we're up against. That's why we always on this show, folks, call for you, the listener, to stand up and be counted and have your voice heard. Start your own. I mean, none of us here, all the four of us, we're not superheroes. We just started a thing here and started doing shows together. Anybody can do the same thing. I mean, you don't need a college education or any type of qualifications. Just, you got a voice. I mean, do you have a brain? Do you breathe in oxygen? You qualify. Yeah.
Yeah, Renee Mack out there, she writes on Facebook, sacrificing babies goes back to Genesis. Few have ever read it. The people put their children on the altar of Baal. Like I said, that's the way it's going. As a matter of fact, I think we got callers on the line, don't we, Jim?
I think Jason's got something, though.
Do we have callers?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Jason.
I mean, it's a lot. But back to that whole splintering the CIA into 1,000 pieces, right? Anybody notice something really eerie about that speech? Why he mentioned 1,000 pieces? It all goes back to the Mothers of Darkness Castle in Belgium. It's the Mothers of Darkness Castle, and it's the 1,000 points of light that they have in a dome inside of this Mothers of Darkness Castle. That's what Bush, all the Bush twins, they were all conceived, everything. All this is, it's so evil. I mean,
I remember George Bush Sr. talking about 1,000 points of light. And the thing is that
it's true.
And right by the CIA headquarters in right there in Virginia, right in Langley, right up the road, you had Grandma Rita's orphanage, which was run by 1,000 Points of Light. It was George H.W. Bush's his little foundation. And then you go up the road further, that's when you had they had a fire, was it February of 2017? It was 2017, 2018. And it was United Arab Emirates. Their mansion burned down that they used for all their, other delegates and everything. Well, they were having big parties there. So they were getting the kids from Grandma Rita's orphanage right outside CIA headquarters, taken to this party place, and then they would take them to Claude's old colonial pig farm right across the street from the CIA headquarters. That's where Podesta actually interned. I mean, this is how sick it gets. I mean, these people, there's a reason why they're doing all this. And when people start looking into Project Pelican, that's why that will make, Uranium One, I mean, it'll make it as if it's like non-existent.
Are you saying they took the children?
Once you start digging into that.
Sorry.
What's that?
I was going to say, are you saying they took the children across the street to the pig farm and disposed of them there? Is that what you're implying?
Well, they took them to the house first.
And then they took them across and they.
Yep.
Because if you drop a body inside a pig pen,
and that's the thing, pig eats anything except teeth.
That's right.
That's why they take off the teeth, and the teeth actually hold your dense DNA. That's why when they say that they check the dental records, they're checking your dense DNA in your teeth. That's all it is.
Jeez,
that's also why they tell moms to keep their baby's teeth, because it might you might need that DNA some point.
Oh yeah, that's scary when you have to have moms save it because you might need it some way. Well, why?
Mm-hmm.
Now you know why.
Identify your child.
Yeah, sadly.
Yep.
We do have one caller. On the line. Do we want to give out the phone number publicly for people to call in? You guys want to do that now? We'll give it out. 51. You can see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen, but if you're not watching and you're listening, it's 515-602-9732. 515-602-9732. And the rules of the call-in line are you don't have to agree with any of us. Just be respectful and don't be vulgar. It's not the kind of show we run here. Other than that, you're able to say anything you like and bring up anything you like.
And I also want to remind the callers that if you do call in, don't listen to your computer. Listen to your phone, because there's like a 12 or 15 second delay there. So when Jim goes to the phones, you won't hear him. So number one, listen to the telephone, not your computer. And number two, try to keep your statement or question down to about a minute, maybe 2 minutes, so we have room for everybody else. Because sometimes you get somebody on the phone and they just go on in a long rant and they don't stop talking. They can't hear us trying to talk back. So, Jason, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I'm guilty of that. I'm totally guilty of that. Not going to lie.
Okay.
Just saying. Sorry.
No, you're good. So we got Muskegon. Looks like Muskegon, Michigan, on the line here. Let's bring Muskegon, Michigan. Muskegon, you're live on the air. Please state your first name. Muskegon, you are up.
She's listening to her computer. That's the problem.
Maybe you're not in Muskegon. It says Muskegon. Michigan, how about that? Michigan, you're on the line. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put them on hold here again.
Put her on hold.
Or me.
Put her on
You
hold.
got to listen to your phone. Don't listen to the computer. Listen to your phone.
Yeah, if you guys are on hold, I think, I haven't been on hold, but I'm told that if you're on hold, the show does pipe through the hold function so you can hear the show when you're on hold. So if you plan on calling in, maybe turn your radio down or whatever, TV down or whatever you're watching this show on, and then just listen to it through the phone, because I think that's going to be much more realistic time-wise. So let's go one more time again to Michigan, see if we can bring Michigan up. Michigan, you're live on the air. Please state your first name. Michigan. Hello? All right. Well, maybe Michigan will try to call back again. We have another call here
Gretchen?
from...
Gretchen Whitmer, is that you?
That was me.
We have another call
Gretchen
from
Whitmer.
California. California on the line. California, thanks so much for calling. You're live on the air. California.
Prank caller. Prank caller.
They're probably all scared of Dave.
Okay. Well, California dropped
Can you blame
and
them?
Michigan called back. So let's see. Let's try this again. Michigan, you're live on the air. Please state your first name. Hello? You.
Anybody there?
There you go. Go ahead, Michigan, on the air. Please state your first name and go ahead with your question.
Hello.
Okay.
Stop listening to your computer. Listen to the phone.
We're here. We're here, Michigan.
This is Tim.
Hey, Tim. How you doing? Good to hear from you. Do you have a question?
James White, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much. Oh, Tim. Oh, it's Tim. Hey, Tim. Yeah, Tim's been on my show before. Tim has been on my show, I think, once or twice for sure. We did a really big video. He got a lot of views. Thanks for calling in, Tim. You have a question?
James, I can't hear you on my end.
Okay, maybe try to connect back again, Tim. All right, let's go up here once again. Sometimes the phones are great. Sometimes they're not, folks. That's all I could say. We're just doing our thing here. All right, we're going to try California again. California actually just dropped. So who is this now? I love calls. Calls are great. Calls are great. All right, we got Houston, Texas. Very cold Houston, Texas. You're on the line. Thanks for joining us. Please state your first name. Houston. Houston, we have a problem.
We have a problem.
I had to say that. I just had to say it. Houston, are you there?
Maybe we're from Dallas. Remember we had that?
Dallas,
2 weeks
Houston,
ago?
Texas, anybody? The
Fort
Lone
Worth.
Star State.
Fort Worth.
Anybody? Abilene. I can hear you, caller. Go ahead, caller. Just Yes, hello?
For the love of God, listen to your phone. Turn off the computer.
Well, I don't know what's going on here, folks. We can't seem to connect to these callers today. It doesn't seem to be working very well for us. So we'll, I guess we'll try to have them call back. I don't know what to say. I'm not doing anything different than I normally do. I'm just clicking the button that says connect to the call. So whatever, it is what it is. Let's talk about that for a second if we can. Did you guys see some of those horrific videos from Texas with like the ceiling fans freezing, the pipes busting, water? There's over 1 million people right now in Texas that have boil water warnings for their water, right? Mm-hmm. They're saying that once everything thaws out, there's going to be the water flow is going to be like in areas that they can't even imagine with the water flowing out. I mean, do you guys see those photos?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can imagine. I mean, they aren't used to that kind of moisture, and when a big warm spell comes through, I mean, even us in Montana, we know what can happen with a big warm spell can come through and the flooding that can occur because there isn't that opportunity for that moisture to get soaked into the ground. I don't even want to imagine what it's going to be like.
Well, the call queue is lined up again now with calls. It's packed with calls. I guess you guys want to continue to move through these and see if we can pull these calls in?
You can try.
If the callers will listen to their phone and not the computer, we could actually move on here.
Yes, please, callers. We implore you once again, please. If you're on the line here, if you're these 4 calls that are lined up on the line, if you can hear my voice, please turn everything else off except the phone because you should be able to hear the show through the phone. So let's go again here. We're going to try again with Houston or Texas. Let's just try that. Texas, you are live on the air. Please state your first name.
Hello?
Hey! Go ahead. Texas.
Hello?
Yes. Texas, you have a question?
Yes.
You made it.
She can't hear us.
Yeah, Texas, hello. You're on the air. Listen, go ahead and talk.
I don't think she could hear us.
Texas, can you hear us? Huh. That's interesting. I don't know what to say about that. Could there be something wrong with the phone lines? I mean, this is all through the Blog Talk, so I have no real control over these phone lines if they're not working properly. Let me take this other call from Michigan.
If we can hear them, they should be able to hear us through their phone. Even if we aren't broadcasting through their phone, they should be able to hear you.
Guys? This is Tim from Michigan again.
Hey, Tim, can you hear us?
My question is real simple. Do you think the governments can be...
He dropped off. The call dropped off. He was in the middle of the sentence and it just dropped off.
Maybe. I'm going to give a solid shot. Maybe.
I think he started listening to his computer. That's the problem.
I don't.
They hear themselves, and then I don't know.
I think he just, for some reason, he just cut off. He was in the middle of a sentence and he just cut off. I think Tim got it. I think I said Tim's been on my show before. So let's try one more time here. We'll try Arizona. Let's try Arizona. Arizona, you're live on the air. Arizona, go ahead and state your first name.
Governments can be...
Arizona.
You can hear us talking in the background on his phone.
Arizona, hello. Okay, I'm not sure that the phone lines are even working properly today, you guys. Let me try one more time.
Maybe we should just drop it for the day. We'll try again next week.
Tim, are you there?
Oh, boy.
Tim, are you there from Michigan? Okay, so I think we're having phone problems, folks. So what we're going to do is we're just going to dump the phone calls today. Something's wrong with the system, apparently. I don't know what, but they're not coming through. It's too bad. I would like to answer Tim's question. Do you think the government... And then it stopped. But that's okay. Maybe. Tim, I think if you want to send me a text, Tim, you should have my mobile line. Send me a text, Tim, on my mobile line. I'll field your question.
Maybe he was wondering if, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Patrick said he called. I called from California and was connected to Texas caller. Laugh out loud. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Oh, so is that what happened?
Awesome, James, you're hooking them up with each other.
Great. Yeah, that was. I just hit a button and made all that happen. No, I'm just joking. I have no clue. I don't know why that happened. There must be something going on with the phone lines there on Blog Talk. We have Arizona trying to call back again. We'll try one more time. We'll give it one more shot, and after that, we just won't take any more calls. If you guys can't hear us, we're just not gonna. Arizona hung up, so that'll be fine. We're just not gonna take any more phone calls because obviously something's not jiving. But that's okay. We have plenty to talk about. That's for sure. No doubt about it. And pardon me. Do you see? I don't see, guys. I don't see. We talked before about Dave. You said Trump's not going to give up. He realizes, I'm sure, what these people will do to his family and his children and grandchildren and anybody that they can get their hands on to punish him for what he's done. I mean, he's got to know this. I can't see him.
Of course.
Right. He's not. I mean, they're not just going to. Don't worry about it, Don. You ruined our plans for 30. You put us back 30 years. No problem. Go on with your life. It's not going to work that way. I mean, he's got to know that.
No, this is not setting them back 30 years. This is destroying them forever.
It's true.
Wiping them from the face of the planet. That's what this is about. So, I mean, and to suggest that he would only go in this and only go so far is ludicrous, because this is, as Juan 07 said, this is not win or lose. This is win or die for these monsters. They have to stop this effort to expose and eradicate them, because if they don't, they are going to be exposed and eradicated. Simple as that. This is a battle of Armageddon, folks. I don't think that there's any other way to describe this. It's good versus evil. It's not Republican or Democrat, liberal, conservative. No. That's the BS that the mainstream media wants you to engulf yourself. It wants you to engulf yourself with. Okay, this is for all the marbles, forever and ever. That's why this is so important.
That's why every single option out of their playbook is coming out, deflecting what they've actually done onto saying that we've committed that. It's just absolutely everything that they have as a possible option is being thrown out, including the dark winter that we're currently experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was coming.
The Romans were the ones that they were the copycats and everything. I mean, they copied off everyone. So Roman Republic fired up again in 2010.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that.
Germany.
Go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
In Germany, in fact, right here, Holy Roman Empire, Germany, started 2010. When you know it. And Germany, France, and England actually, did the whole comeback tour. So, this whole, I hate to say it, but all these wars, everything, it's one big script. That's all it is. Everything's a game to them. Yep. It all stems from that letter in on August 15th, 1871, Albert Pike to Giuseppe Mazzini, outlined all three world wars. That's what it all stems from. That right there, that letter, is the most important document in this whole thing.
Well, you mentioned
then you'll see who the nihilists and anarchists are right now. You have you have Black Lives Matter, and then you have Antifa. There's your anarchist and your nihilist. They're playing as if they're still winning. No. They're all trapped now. But you had to trap them all at once. That's why they had to run this so underground, so covertly, that of course the mainstream media is not going to find out. They're in on it too. Everybody's in on it. They're all guilty of it.
Well,
anybody that badmouths Trump. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this guy Tim sent in his question. I wanted to read the question. He kept trying. Remember, Tim got cut off. He sent me a text. Here's Tim's question. It says, I tried getting on, but the phone's not working. You guys can hear me, but I can't hear you. But my comment was in regards to the Child Protective Services Agency and all the exposure that we're doing here in Michigan. I've uncovered that they've been doing backdoor deals to sell children outside of the Child Protective Services Agency, and their police refuse to look at it. How can we force the cops to do their job properly? It's the same people involved in my case that I'm speaking directly about, and you can see Tim's case on Northwest Liberty News. I interviewed him from Michigan probably about a year ago. That's the problem, you guys. We've got, we know, and I've said this on my own show, we know that there's criminality going on. There's no denying that. I mean, that evidence is open. But here's the problem. There's no justice element to things right now. I mean, I know some may be going on in the background, but regardless of what's going on in Washington or in the tunnels anywhere, CPS today are still taking kids from parents and kidnapping them and selling them into slavery and putting them into foster care systems where they're molested today. Regardless of what's going on in any tunnels anywhere in the world, that still is going on across America today. That we got to stop. That's got to stop. That has to stop like right away, in my view. How do we make it stop? That's the question.
Well, here's the thing, though. When you say CPS, is it protective or procurement?
Yeah, exactly. No, you're
it's
right.
Child procurement services.
Sure.
That's all they're doing. They're lining up the kids to, go to the next, go to their victims. I mean, they're turning all these kids into victims. And they're all doing it within a certain age range, before 7 years old, so that they can actually twist how their brain is developed from and that's all it is. Because once you advance, once you go past the age of 7, and you lack like love and empathy, you're already screwed all the way up. That child is broken. And that's what we have right now. We have a bunch of broken children because, the system failed them. And it's not even we sit here and think that it's our system, but it's not. It's their evil system.
Right.
But
bingo.
They have been sitting here and keeping us busy with all this technology and all this other shit. But it's garbage. All this technology and everything, all this is so outdated. Every bit of it. I mean, all of this is so archaic that they talk about like the new the new iPhones, new iPhone 12 or whatever. It's like they literally have like implants, that you can actually put in. I mean, they have a SoulStone microchip. That's what they use for the clones. They actually transplant your consciousness onto a chip and then put it into a clone. So your consciousness, it's broken, it's fractured, it's not all the way there, but they insert it into a clone, and there you go.
Well, a lot of these children too. Go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say, Jason, you're scratching the surface on technology that many people have never heard about. Now, some folks might hear that, say, "Wait a second, you're taking my consciousness and sticking it in a clone? Come on, science fiction." Well, we don't know if it's science fiction. We don't know the technology that's been hidden for, over a century. I mean, we know that there have been medical breakthroughs. We know that there's Tesla technology. We know there's Rife technology. We know that all of these technologies have been suppressed for well over a century. And so it's easy to dismiss a concept like that without, as a knee-jerk reaction. But we have to keep our minds open that maybe that type of technology has been developed. I mean, I haven't heard of it, but I'm not going to dispel it. I'm not going to deny that it's possible. We have to consider all those options.
Well, sadly, the children. Go ahead, Kelly. Sorry, hon.
Dave, don't say you haven't heard of it. We've had this conversation.
Yes, I know. I'm saying that for the benefit of people who have not heard of it. Okay.
Correct. Well, and that's the whole point of what we're going to be coming up with is we have documentation to go along with it, and if you need to see it for your own eyes, we're opening that door for you to be able to do that. That's the whole concept between the ORN thing with the One Republic Network, is providing documentation to allow you the opportunity to read through it, look at it, and take some time to analyze it and discern for your own mind out of that compared to what on the other side. So you can contradict it and look at both sides of things, whether you want to believe it or not. It's not something that we all like coming to grips with, of a possible reality of something that we've actually probably been exposed to and don't even realize it, but it's possible. and it's out there. And
Well,
to not question it and to completely put up a wall to it is not doing yourself any justice either. Keep an open mind.
There's an old saying that says the truth is not stranger than anything you have imagined. It's stranger than anything you can imagine. So you have to keep that in mind.
Well, you pick it up on Jason's point earlier. What happens is the cycle of these children that get abused, they get broken and they get turned into operatives, and a lot of times they're sex slaves, and they use these children to blackmail men in power to turn the other way, and they continue their evil. You say, how can this go on for so long? That's exactly what happens. They blackmail people in power, and they have the undue influence over them, and they just turn the other way, and they're part of the program. And then what happens is there's so many of them that are part of the program, they all have to kind of hang together. Because if one of them goes down, they all go down because they're all interconnected. They all have dirt on each other. And that's how that system works, folks, and that's how it's been working for, I don't know, you guys, what do you think? Decades? Generations? I don't know.
Well, and they also have like information about the kids, and it's literally like a shopping list that they are sitting there shopping and picking out which kids they want to take, and then the kids are picked up and taken to them and sold to them.
It's true.
It's like a freaking menu.
It's true.
You could thank Instagram for that. That's what you think. You think Instagram and all the these parents give these little kids phones and everything. Right there you have it. Because they know exactly where the child is at all times. That phone has a beacon on it. All they have to do is just, whoever bought that child, they're going to go get them. That's it. Yep. I mean, it's sad, but that's what they're doing. And as far as the cloning goes, we had it way back in the 400s. I mean, we literally have pages and pages upon it.
What is that again? What are you showing us, Jason?
Yeah,
I didn't hear
social microchip. Well, I mean, all of our documents we have listed, color-coded, numbered. We have books of these. So we kept everything, in somewhat order. Somewhat. But, I mean, we have everything literally documented, researched, color-coded, everything.
Well, what we found out about these Amazon and these other places that have these chests of drawers that looks like it's worth about $125, but they're charging $9,000 for this thing, or $12,000 for this piece of furniture that looks like it's worth $100, and they're charging $8 or $9 and they're selling them.
And what's the name?
They're selling them. It's on
and it's
Amazon.
Got a name attached, doesn't it? Like Isabel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's at Wayfair.
Yeah, Wayfair.
Yeah,
that's
it's Wayfair, Walmart, Amazon.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
All of them.
I mean, is that what I think it is? Is that openly selling children on? I mean, in the open, right? That's what they're doing. They're just basically selling kids in the open. Yes.
It's bigger than that, James. It's an intergalactic slave trade. It's exactly what it is. That's why NASA is so important. That's why Project Pelican is so important, because Project Pelican was in Port Canaveral. Now, if you think Cape Canaveral is where NASA is, there's a dedicated rail line, right? So what they would do is they'd take the children to NASA, they would cryogenically freeze them, and then ship them by rail to Port Canaveral, and that's when they would load them onto the Evergreen containers. That's why it's called Project Pelican. Where does a pelican keep its young? In its beak. Think of the symbolism, right? So you think, the container, what's inside of it? Children. There's one thing that a reptilian will not eat. It's anything dead. That's why they cryogenically freeze them. If they have to travel with them, they're much easier, dealt with when they're cryogenically frozen, and then they.
Okay.
When they're needed.
I gotta jump in there. For a second. Okay.
Go ahead.
Again, I did say just a few minutes ago, the truth is not stranger than you ever imagined. It's stranger than you can imagine. Okay, now you're going off on a very long branch out there that a lot of people are going to say, whoa, wait a second, that's crazy. So, I mean, I'm not denying what you're saying, Jason, but what I think what the listeners and viewers would love to have is some documentation that basically supports what it is that you're saying, because the concept that you just threw out there is going to send some people into a tailspin. So I mean,
I literally have 230,000 pages of documents here.
Oh, I believe you, but people want to see it.
That's why they said research. I mean, the Internet of Things is open. I mean, where do you think we started? I mean,
no, I agree.
I mean, we weren't just handed this. I mean, if you think about it, right? Remember, they have to always tell us the truth, right? Remember back in the 80s, Dave, when they had that show V and V the Final Battle, right? Remember what that was all situated about? It was about humans. I didn't watch it. It was humans, and then they were reptilians. Like they would tear off their face, and there was like a lizard underneath, right? Oh my God, you know. Where do you think they got the concept? I mean, it's all going on. I mean, they talk about the Vril. That's the Vril Society. That's the deal that Hitler made back in the 30s. Hitler was cloning humans in the 30s. He had a whole battalion cloned. That's why they were blonde hair, blue eyes. That's not a German trait. They're brown hair, brown eyes.
I'm not denying
blonde hair, blue eyes. Oh, I know. I mean,
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that some people need to see the documentation for something like that. You know, for example, remember when the mainstream press announced that the first sheep had been cloned, Dolly the sheep.
Yeah, Dolly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Dolly. Okay, and they showed you this video or a photograph of a full-grown sheep. Now, wait a second. If they had actually cloned an animal, why didn't they show the animal when it was a little lamb? Why didn't they show, when it first happened? So, I mean, that threw up a red flag in my mind when that happened. That was back in the 80s.
Because there's different type of cloning. You can clone when they're born as a child. You could also clone to be the same age, same everything. I mean, President Trump has clones. What do you think Camp David is? Camp David is a cloning center. It's a presidential cloning center. I'm not even lying to you. That's why he wears the blue tie and red tie. Blue tie is a clone. Why do you think he goes all the way to these other places? He has a blue tie on. Why would they risk putting him somewhere where he could get assassinated? They know it's not him. Because they have clones too.
I'm not denying that. I'm not dissing you or anything like that. What I'm saying though is that if we're going to go out with this, we need to see it. You know, I like when I was going off about COINTELPRO a few minutes ago, I provided the congressional records and the documents. Okay, if we're going to go off on a branch like that, we need to see those. You know, we need to see those, not just for me. Yeah, you can pan over there. I see a box.
He has the documents, Dave. Like, he wouldn't make a statement on those things if he didn't have the document to do it. But him having it like right in front of him right now, not knowing this is the subject matter we were bringing up today, like, give him a break.
No, hold on a second.
Give him 2 seconds and he'll go grab the document and show it to you.
Again, I'm not dissing him or anything like that. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying.
No, I know. See, there he goes. What we're planning on doing is having that documentation already there so you can look at it while we're discussing it. That's the whole point.
Again, I don't want him to feel like I'm challenging him or anything like that. I'm just saying is that when we go off into subjects that are so far, I mean, they're way far away from what most people have ever heard of, they got to see something for it, So, I mean, that's the only reason I'm taking that position. I don't. You see where I'm coming from, Jim? You see?
Yeah. No. I interviewed a guy named Frank Chili Jr. on Critical Disclosure here about 2.5 or 3 years ago. He was a contemporary of William Tompkins, who's probably one of the foremost extraterrestrial guys probably on the planet. Bill Tompkins, and I interviewed Frank Chili. And he had drawings that Bill Tompkins had. He had like a space map that showed that they could do like interdimensional travel. I mean, he had all the documents and everything. I wish I could find that. I'm doing a search for it right now. But I mean, that was I never did a show like that before. But it was fascinating having that guy on there talking about that stuff. Go ahead, Jay.
James, I could actually send you. Let me see how many there are. There are 11,988 space patents. I have them right here.
1,998 space patents? Well,
11,988.
Well, this guy, Frank Chili,
11,988.
said that we've connected. He said, Jim, from my information, you guys, again, you can believe it or not believe it. He said, from my information, we have connected with about 103 different extraterrestrial species in space. So we actually trade with them and go back and forth with them, and we trade technologies with them, stuff like that. That's what the man said on the show. So I mean, I'm not there. I didn't see anybody. I'm just saying that's what the man said.
Okay, but that's where. Okay, we're not trading technology with them. We're trading children for their technology. Everybody outside of here is way highly advanced than us. What these people are, I mean, they're just savages. What they tried to do is they tried to just, pretty much like cut in line. And because you had, Valiant Thor came and he met Dwight Eisenhower when he was president. He gave him the Orion Cube. And he said that he can cure cancer and everything like that. And that's when Joint Chiefs of Staff told him to, buzz off in a few words less. So that's where the whole Majestic 12 comes in. Majestic 12 was infiltrated by Skull and Bones, which is the Yale, society, secret society. So then they had to come up with COM 12. So when they say no outside comms, well, of course not. When you're COM 12, you don't have any other comms. You have 12 comms. There are 12 people in COM 12. And the other opposing force is Aquarius. When they talk about Age of Aquarius and everything, that's the evil faction. I mean, we're literally fighting for our survival because we're coming back. I'm sure that they don't come back. When we talked about the whole Enki and Lil, Marduk, the Enuma Elish as the Babylonian epic of creation, spot on. Because if people think that the Bible was the official, like the official book, it was translated. It was translated from Greek to Hebrew to from Sumerian to Greek to Hebrew. I mean, all the way down the line. It's the same story being told over and over again, but it's the same lie. Mm-hmm. Once we have to get out of that lie.
Well, I just want to let you guys know. I just looked at the time here. Do you see what time it is? It's 4 minutes before 2. Ooh. However, I have. Well, no. Here's the thing: is, and if they let me do it, I actually put a 2.5 hour show time limit in the Blog Talk Radio, and it seems like it's going to let us do that. You guys want to go an extra half an hour? You guys want to?
Yeah,
I can.
Go an extra half an hour? Can you go an extra half an hour?
I just want to jump in. I've been sort of monitoring here and there some of the comments on Facebook. And there are a lot of people out there saying, hey, if Jason says it, he's got it documented. And again, I'm not, Jason, please don't see me as being confrontational.
No. I'm not saying that at all. No, and I understand where you're coming from. That's what I'm saying. I mean, we do have the document. So, I mean, it's.
Okay, but keep in mind that when you have a population that's been raised and weaned on a steady diet of misinformation, disinformation, and lies, when the truth comes along, it's going to taste real funny to some of these people. And you can't you got a baby that you're introducing to new foods, to solid foods. You don't sit them down in front of a plate of jalapenos and nachos and don't expect to get projectile vomiting as a result. Okay? So this is why I'm saying, when we dump stuff down that is so far outside the purview of the conventional wisdom, a lot of people are going to go, whoa, So that's why I'm saying, I know a bunch of the stuff that you're saying is true and valid. Okay. And I know that a lot of the listeners are out there that are watching, they're saying so too. But I'm saying for the benefit of all the people who have never heard this type of stuff, they're going to freak out. And that's why I'm saying if we're going to talk about, this or that, we have to have some sort of documentation, something to show them other than just because Jason said so. Okay. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to attack your credibility or your research.
No. Thing is that I wouldn't say it if we didn't have it documented. That's number one. Number two, time's up on people, getting their feelings hurt and everything like that. You know what? Might as well get the bark bag ready because belly up to the nachos, make it extra jalapenos because they're ready for first contact. And we're getting it, and we're getting ours back. I don't think you guys understand who's coming back. Oh no, they can't do full disclosure. They can't. They can't. they cannot go full disclosure on this. There's a lot of this they will not come out with. No way. It's going to be
well,
like
not completely.
80-20.
Not completely, but I mean, I was
No.
visiting Kelli the other day. Remember, Kelli, I was over there and we asked, we did a search, and I said, hey, how many people believe in extraterrestrials? And it's over a quarter of the world's population that believes this. Okay, I'm talking about the 3/4 that are not yet brought up to speed on some of this stuff. And the only way that we're going to bring a lot of people more on board of what the information that we're trying to share with everybody is to be able, excuse me, to provide them some sort of a foundation, on which, to rebuild their schema of the world. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we are going to, I think, with the new network.
With
the new network, we're going to have a repository of documentation for people to view. I think we're going to have that for them. I think that's the goal. I think it is to be able to.
Yes. Oh yeah.
To provide that.
That's
back.
a massive part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah. So I think that's.
It is. It's really important for the people to get the information and to be able to see the same documentation that he's gone through and read and highlighted for people, places, things, who, what, where, when, and how, and to be able to have access to that same information, to be able to read it for your own two eyes. Because, it's a very difficult thing to kind of grasp. Okay, they're cloning humans. Well, that kind of really sucks. They can do it in 4 different ways. Holy crap. What are those ways? I want to learn this. I want to understand it. That's one massive thing. I think a lot of people, going along with what Dave said and what Jason said, Dave is like, whoa, this is a new concept. It's hard to think about because it's a fear situation. You're fearing the concept because of the unknowing of the knowledge. What we want to bring to the table is the roundtable discussion of both sides of the subject and the data that correlates with the knowledge. Because if you no longer fear the situation and you have it like grasped as a tangible potential situation in your life, and you don't fear it anymore, then it doesn't have any power over you. And that's a big thing. Fear having it have a power over you is a detriment to you. If you don't fear something anymore, it has no more power. So you're taking that part of what they thrive off of away from the situation. And that's really important here.
Well, you know what? Somebody made a comment here in the YouTube room about, can you just let people know that who aren't as savvy at research that you guys might be as they are, maybe, and that brought me up a point. Do we need to maybe have a show when we start kicking off the network? Do we maybe need to have a show that gives people the tools on how to research properly? Because it's very, very difficult to research these days because like web search, it brings up the first 10 pages are all CNBC, MSNBC, CNN. I mean, it's all just, so there's got to be some tools that maybe we can give people some skill sets perhaps to help research properly. What do you guys think about something like that?
Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're giving you a data document that's going to have a lot of information in it, and it's your starting point. And then you can take pieces of that and go into searching, a different area for particular pieces of that subject matter to have it come and verify it up. Because, none of us knew where to start. It's kind of like something fell into our lap or slapped us across the face, as Dave would say, and kind of was like that wake up call. And it was like, okay, I need to check into this further. And some have a talent for digging. Some just stumbled across it. Some are massive data researchers, but Jason, it's not like he has something in front of him that was like, go here to find this. It's kind of like this door opened that door, which opened this door, which brought you over here. And then putting that whole thing together and bringing yourself out to 30,000 feet and looking at the aspect of the whole big picture and trying to put the puzzle pieces together. It's very difficult. And it's something that's, we may not ever, because we have to throw this out there, we may not ever have all of the puzzle pieces. And that's something I've had to accept and I don't like.
We probably won't ever.
Yeah, but if you want to take one particular subject matter, and personally, for feeling good about yourself, don't have it be about the kids. Once you go down that hole and you start looking at all of the different things and trying to understand exactly what they've done, it's a very negative place to be in. Don't try and figure out the other stuff. This is something that's
That's why-
there. You don't want to know everything about it, especially moms. I'm sorry, but you just don't. So don't put yourself in a position of having to see something that you're also going to have to live with for the rest of your life. Just don't. Take it from my error. That was an error I made. I thought I needed to see something, and I wish I never had, because I can't get that out of my head now. So we're going to make sure and provide great starting places for people to be able to research with documentation that's already been gone through, and providing that so that everybody has that. And where you take it from there is going to be up to each person, because the information being provided is going to resonate with each individual person differently based upon their life experiences and what they want to create out of their future life as well.
I'm going to jump in there. We've already gone past the top of the hour. I didn't know if you, Jim, if you wanted to run a top of the hour break, but I have to go and take a break. So I'm going to take 2 minutes and go fill my water jug and empty the other one.
I'll run another break on this real quick. Our sponsors will be very happy that we'll run another quick break. We'll be back on the other side of these brief messages, so the staff, the crew can go hit the head. So we'll be back after these brief messages here. This is the new One Republic Network. I'm James White, along with Dave Von Kleist, Kelli Higgins, and Jason Q. We'll be back after these brief messages. If you like classic cars, exceptional service, and a money-back guarantee, then the Corner Shop in beautiful downtown Kalispell is the place for you. Whether it's an oil change, engine diagnostic, suspension work, or brakes all around, the Corner Shop has you covered. With expert technicians and a free consultation on all services, you can't go wrong with the Corner Shop. Did I mention the classic cars? While you're waiting for your expert service to be performed, take a stroll through the showroom to see Kalispell's smoothest collection of classic cars. The Corner Shop is conveniently located at 1212 South Main, just south of the courthouse. The Corner Shop is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., so drop by for an appointment or call 755-7777. That's 755-7777. The Corner Shop, Kalispell's full-service auto repair facility. Hi, this video is brought to you by PatriotPrepared.com, where right now you can save $250 on each large package purchase, plus get free shipping to the continental United States. In these troubled times, it's not a bad idea to have some extra food storage available, and you can save big at Patriot Prepared right now. Go to PatriotPrepared.com, that's PatriotPrepared.com, and use the code TRUMP250 at checkout to receive your savings today. Joining us back here on the broadcast, we'll stay on this screen right here till all of our co-hosts get back in their respective positions. Thanks so much for joining us here on this show. We do appreciate you looking in. James White, Dave Von Kleist, Jason Q, and Kelli Higgins. And we are going to be moving over from the Critical Disclosure format here over to the One Republic Network format. And we so much appreciate you joining us. I believe we already have Kelli is very capable. I think she's already put up a lot of the pages that we need. And I think Facebook page, there's a One Republic Network Facebook page, I think, as I joined it. So you can probably go there and check that out. I think for now, probably going to be posting stuff there, I would guess, until we have our website up. And then we'll probably have an information page on our website that will have all the links to all the different places you can watch the show and listen to the show, find out more information about us, the hosts, and our respective websites and that type of stuff. So I think that's all in the plans, and we certainly do appreciate the listenership that we have so far, and those that have supported us and shared the videos around and asked a lot of great questions and a lot of great participation from the listeners, and we always respect and appreciate that and are thankful for that. I don't want to speak for the other co-hosts, but I'm quite certain I can when I say that we do enjoy your questions and you're reaching out to us and that type of thing. So please keep that going. Okay, well, we're going to move over here. Dave is not back yet. We're going to move over anyway because that's okay. That's just Dave. He'll be okay with that.
Up.
Okay with that. I can't talk much longer. At any rate. So good times. Yeah, good times. We're doing a little overdrive here today, folks. And again, I don't know. We haven't decided yet if we're going to do 2 hours, 3 hours, or how that's going to roll. But I wouldn't mind doing the 3 hour thing. I mean, having an hour of doing a talk and then an hour of phones if they work properly. And then another hour of after the phone calls, we can discuss some of the things we got on the phone calls or, that type of thing. It's just something we're throwing out there. And maybe we'll just put it to the folks Any folks out there, if you could put it in the chat room, would you rather see a 2-hour show or a 3-hour show? Is 3 hours too long? Hey, we're going to do whatever, like Jason said earlier, I believe it was Jason, we're going to do whatever it takes, the best way to get the word out to the most people in the most effective way. And, that's what we want to do. So let us know in the chat room what you guys think about that. And we appreciate it. You guys, any thoughts on that? Any initial thoughts on the 2 or 3 hour?
Which chat room are you monitoring? Because I got the Facebook over here. Do you have?
I got the YouTube.
Chat going on YouTube?
I got the YouTube. 2.5. We got 2.5 hours coming in. We got a 2.5 hour, which was neither one of the choices. I love it. Someone gives us. That's great. I like the way you think. You don't choose either one of us.
I love it.
Right.
I love it.
Exactly. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about that and figure out the best way to do it. But it's good times. This is and not just us, but people like us are the new news. Because I really think, you guys, when all this comes out and you see it coming out, the criminality is obviously open. Even now, they're turning against Cuomo now and his brother. I got to believe that Cuomo is going to be going to jail before this is all over because of what he did to those seniors, and is he rightfully so. Mainstream media is going to collapse, is it not, you guys? When all this comes out, we will be the de facto media, not because we're special or important or because any of that stuff. Is just that there won't be anybody hardly left. In the mainstream, that's for sure. I think they'll all be in trouble. You guys, any thoughts?
Don't get me started. I'm going to let you guys go, and I got a punchline.
Yeah, we all know Dave's thought on that one, and I'm in agreement. They're complicit in contributing. They've lied, they've falsified information, but they've just flat out lied, about so many different things, and have manipulated the people to think a certain thing, and it's very unfortunate. But what's fortunate is, karma is coming, and I don't necessarily, I think I've said this to you guys, but to the listeners out there, we aren't trying to replace NBC, CNN, whatever. That's not the point of what we're going to be doing here at all. This is information warfare, and we're just bringing the big guns.
We don't want to be like them.
No, not at all.
We want to be plausible.
Yep.
We want to actually we want to do it for the right reasons. It's
well, right. And when you've got someone like ABC putting out news, this is the news of today. Well, they don't show the sources of where they got this information. Like, we're going to discuss things, and we're going to give you the sources so that you can actually see where we're getting this information from, so that you can see its legitimacy. It's going to be a completely different philosophy.
From the box built by the CIA, no less. And Project Weeping Angel. It's built in smart TVs.
No, that's true.
All in there.
Yep, that's true.
It's.
Well, if you go back to the mid-'70s, and review the Frank Church hearings, hearings about the CIA, and they came out and flat out admitted that they do have CIA operatives involved in all of the networks, all of the mainstream publications, and we'd have to be silly hearts. We're talking the mid-'70s. We're talking about 45 flaming years ago. If anybody thinks that the CIA is not pushing the buttons and pulling the strings in the mainstream networks, then you're living in a fantasy world. And 25 years ago, on my first album, I wrote a song called "You Won't Be Trusted Anymore." And the final verse is, we can't wait for you to start to get honest. We can't wait for you to start to get true. We can't wait for you to finally discover that the things you did can be done to you. We can't wait to see the table is turning, forcing you to see the things that you've done. We can't wait for you to hear the music and understanding that there's no place to run. Watch the faces turn white as the people unite. Watch the roaches take flight when you turn on the light. You won't be trusted anymore. That was my song to the networks. It stands today as it did 25 years ago.
Well, I'm looking at a quote right now I pulled up here from William Casey, and we may have brought this up on the show before. If we did, sorry for the redundancy. But Casey was quoted as saying, "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American people believes is false." Gee whiz, you guys, we're pretty close, don't you think? If not, we're not there. If not there.
What do you think created the ball Earth? I mean, that's the biggest lie in all of this. I mean, especially for those that read the Bible, go back and read the first chapter again, Genesis. Just do a quick overview. When you hit the word firmament, look it up. It's a dome. Is it a ball? The dome makes it a hemisphere, a sphere. Are you on it or are you in it? Simple as that. Water always finds its level. How much gravity do you think it would take for all that water on a spinning ball, 1,040 miles an hour, rotating just, wherever? Where does water go on a wet tennis ball when you spin it on the ground? It all goes from the top and bottom, goes in the middle, and shoots out the sides. Wouldn't you do the same thing on a bigger model? I believe so. How can you fly from New York to LA and from LA to New York on a spinning ball? You can't. It's impossible. Because we actually did the math on it. From New York City to LAX, it's 2,451 miles. Average plane goes 500 miles an hour. It's 5 hours, 23 minutes. From LAX to New York City, it's 2,451 miles, same amount. 500 miles, 4 hours, 47 minutes. So if it was a ball and you put the spin in there, well, from New York City to LAX, I mean, you make it an hour 36 because you'd be going 1,540 miles an hour because you're traveling 500 miles an hour this way and the ball is going 1,040 miles this way. Boom. You can't even land the plane. I mean, how do you have north-south runways? How do you have a helicopter? It's totally if you look at a globe, if you tip it upside down, look at the bottom. It says not for educational purposes. Right on the other side of that, we have two flat Earth models of that whole thing. I mean, the information that we have with this, I mean, we can literally own people. I have NASA documents right here that say it's a flat, non-rotational Earth. I could even tell you which document it was. I mean, we literally have them.
Well,
in fact, it was right in the 600s.
I don't do nearly as much research as you do on this at all, not even close. But there's a couple things that puzzle me. Two things about the whole flat Earth thing, and as again, I don't research it and look into it. But I know the Bible does refer to 4 corners of the earth, which would mean, to me, would seem to be like a flat plane with 4 corners. Again, just saying that to me seems to be that. And another thing is too, I know that just physics wise, every mile that you look out in the distance, the landscape drops off 8 feet per mile. So it's 8 feet lower. If the curvature of the earth was truly the curvature like they say it is, then just think about it. Think about the curve. If you look straight forward, it should drop 8 feet every mile. Well, these people that stand 10 miles apart from each other and they have like a bright light and they can see each other on the same plane 10 miles away. Well, the person on the other side should be technically 80 feet below them if the curvature of the thing, and again, I'm not a scientist. I'm really a layman about this. Those are just questions that I have just from my own observations without really digging into it scientifically that make me kind of wonder if, if there's other options about there besides what they're telling us.
Well, who's the one that came up with the whole ball Earth idea? It was Nicholas Copernicus, Polish astronomer. And who approved it? The Vatican. Why? Nicholas Copernicus never even owned a telescope. I mean, it's the symbolism that gets you. As soon as you walk into your kindergarten class, there's a globe, there's a flag. That's where you live. That's your planet right there. Oh, it's just constant. It's constant brainwashing, constant.
Well, I take a quick exception to that. I'm looking here. I'm looking here at the Bible, and I'm looking here at the Isaiah 40:22, It said, "It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth." You ask where it came from. It seems to be there's biblical references to the circle of the earth as well.
It's in the
plane, the
But-
plane, and the circles.
But the thing is, a circle is not a sphere. A circle is not a ball. You could draw a circle on a flat piece of paper and then hold it up. Piece of paper's flat, but it's still a circle. It's just like a plane view. And when you're looking down on it, well, it's a circle.
We're going to have a whole show about this one. I have a feeling maybe a whole week.
Well, see, this is what makes good conversation. You know, we don't have to agree on everything, you know, because people out there in the world are talking about this stuff. Okay. But, you know, and so in support of my particular beliefs, I spent about 6.5 years in South America, and I was in Argentina, and I had the pleasure and honor of meeting people from all over the world. And there were several people who I befriended who were from Australia. Now, I want to point out, and again, for those of you who have seen the map of the flat Earth, okay, Antarctica is represented as a wall of ice that goes all around the outside, okay?
Yes.
Now, if indeed the world is flat, okay, I'm going to refer to this globe for a second.
Oh, boy.
Now, okay, now just for a second. Okay, don't get pissed off now, Jason.
No, I'm not pissed. It's just, I mean, if you look at the flight track from Australia to South America, where does it stop? Why does it stop in North America?
It goes right over the South Pole. I mean, if you go from South America.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. Dave, look at a flight tracker. Dave, buy a ticket. If you could get a ticket from Australia to South America, one shot, I'll buy the ticket. In fact, I'll buy a few tickets.
From Sydney to Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
Sydney, Australia. Okay.
Yes.
Sydney, Australia is right here. Okay.
On that. Yes.
It goes over the South Pole.
Okay. Over a ball that you're holding up.
Yeah. Okay. Right. See.
Over a ball.
Here's Buenos Aires.
That's Dave. Dave.
Okay. The flight path goes right over the South Pole.
You can't fly over Antarctica.
You can't fly. Antarctica's a wall. If you go into a flight tracker, right, and you buy tickets, say that you're gonna. That's why they put Hong Kong and Ecuador and Honduras or Ecuador and Venezuela in the drops for Snowden. They said, why did he go through Russia? I mean, couldn't you just go through from Hong Kong just straight over? I mean, you could just have a layover in Hawaii. Why didn't you do that? Because you're not on a ball. You're on a flat Earth, Dave. The flight, you're constantly flying over land. I mean, it will be a whole show. I mean, it's definitely mind blowing. Trust me on this. It blew my mind, and every time you pick up more and more clues, and especially when NASA lets it out. It's a derivation of the rockets. I mean,
well, I'm well aware that the Flat Earth Society has membership all over the globe. I understand that.
It's not a globe though. It's not a globe though. See, the Flat Earth Society, that's a CIA op. That's to discredit the whole movement. See, you don't need a society to actually have common sense.
Oh.
If you needed a society for common sense, oh boy, we're definitely tanking that one.
Hey, it's 2:22. We got 8 minutes.
It's actually 3:22 here. Skull and Bones.
Closure here. Recent evidence that just came out.
Right here, NASA definition of a linear aircraft model. It's your flat Earth proof. Why do you think Werner von Braun put Psalms 19:2 on his headstone? It mentions firmament. They have to do it for their karma. They always have to tell the truth in the end.
So I was going to say, can you guys hear me? It said there was some audio problems. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So have you guys seen the latest?
The audio problem was me bitching.
No, you're fine. Did you see it just came out? The Pentagon admits to testing wreckage from UFO crashes and our future may never be the same. That was, I think, the Sun paper, and there's a couple of different places. But you see the soft disclosure coming out. I think that's soft disclosure when they admitted on mainstream media that the Pentagon has been testing wreckage from UFO crashes. I think they're getting people warmed up for some release. I don't know what. I don't know exactly what they're going to release, but they are certainly priming the pump. You guys see that too?
Bring back the National Enquirer. That's what you need to bring back.
Who did that?
Now, see how it's a loop?
Hold on, who did that? How'd you guys do that? Is that you, Kelly?
Dave did.
Dave
did.
No.
Cool.
Yeah, I did that.
Who the heck gave him control?
I didn't even know that he could do that.
I don't know.
I put it on my screen.
Me neither.
I put it on my screen. Okay. Here's Buenos Aires. Here's Buenos Aires.
Okay.
And here is Sydney, Australia. So you have to fly right over that. Now, if you're going to go over to Perth, you got to fly directly over the South Pole. Here it says routes over Antarctica.
No. See where it says flyforfree.com? Why don't you click on that and see where the stops are? And any of them.
I'm looking at
any place you could buy tickets. Go and buy a ticket and see where your stops are. Why is it from Hong Kong to Honduras? Do you stop in Helsinki, Finland? Do you stop in Budapest? Do you stop in Madrid, Spain? And then do you stop finally in Honduras?
But wait.
Stop sharing.
No. That's a cute line. That's a really cute line. How about this? How about go and see where the stops are? That will tell you exactly what it is. That's what you need to do.
Well, I can look directly at the flight path. This is nonstop. Okay. This is nonstop. At a crazy from San Diego to Perth is nonstop.
If anybody can put a red line on a map.
Yeah, you're looking at a crazy 6-year-old with crayons. That's exactly what you're looking at right there.
Okay.
That's all you're looking at. I mean, who made that? And why is Antarctica so small? I mean, I thought Antarctica was big, right?
Well, this is a whole show. Okay.
This is a whole show thing.
Case, I'll present my case, and we'll have at it on the next show. Okay.
I just want to see Jason. I just want to see Jason buy you numerous tickets. I think that would be great.
And the best part is he's gonna be like, well, how am I doing in Russia? It's like, I don't know. Здравствуйте. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go there, you might as well learn how to speak the native tongue.
You guys are coming.
Well, and the same thing goes along, and this wasn't even a concept of looking at the map, but someone I know flew from Seattle to Saudi Arabia, and they went up over Alaska and Russia and back down. And I was like, now, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Because it was really cold in the center. Why would you not go over the ocean? Why did you go up and over? Because literally on a flat earth, you go up and over. It's a straight line shot. Yeah.
If it's a flat earth, there is no up.
You guys, we're just running out of time here. Do we want to say anything? How much time we got left here? We don't have long 2 or 3 minutes. Do we want to say anything here? 2 minutes and 35 seconds. You want to say anything in closing? I want to say thanks for listening today.
Yeah, definitely go and like and subscribe to any of our new platforms for the One Republic Network. We'll have a couple more coming up as soon as I can. I'll make sure and get all that information out to everybody so they know everywhere they can find us. But go get ready because we're bringing the heat, and it's starting March 1st.
Bringing the heat. Should we change our from Voices for the New Republic to Bringing the Heat?
No.
We're still doing it next week, though, right?
I guess we can. Yeah, I didn't mean to lie on the title, but yeah, I guess we will be back one more time. Next time, I'll just change the title and put it on next week. I mean, no big deal.
Yeah. It's going to be
so much fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Here's the thing. Here's what I want to say. I don't really know. I just want to get to what the truth is. I just want to get to whatever the truth is. If it's truthful that we have a flat Earth, I mean, listen. If that can be proven and that's what the truth is, I just want to find out whatever the truth is. I'm tired of being lied to. In every area of our lifetimes, we're lied, man. I'm tired of lies.
90 seconds.
That's it. 90 seconds. You guys, anything you want to say? Anything?
That's what we're here for.
David, you want to close out? Say anything before we go?
Now, I just want to say, now this is what healthy talk radio or open blog conversations are about. It's okay to disagree. That's the whole point. I mean, we have an issue right now all over the country. People are divided into liberal versus conservative. There are things that can unite us all. And we're only going to unite if we can have open and honest discussions about this. Now, I'm not going to reach through the phone line and beat him up because I don't believe in him. Okay? It's not like that, and vice versa. But we have to throw this stuff out there and hey, throw it out there and see what happens.
He'll come around.
We are just out of time, you guys. We so much appreciate you joining us all here on the show today. Again, keep an eye out for our new One Republic Network. That's coming up here March 1st. Thanks so much. We appreciate you again looking in. For Dave Von Kleist, Kelly Higgins, and Jason Q, this is James White saying bye now.
Love you all.
Ten seconds.